Apologies for that, sorry. Hopefully it's not quite so choppy now. Beginning of the stream again. Hi everyone, welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday. Today we're looking at all sorts of stuff, including people who think you should look into an eclipse. You shouldn't, but what do you know? As I said when I started the stream the first time, yesterday I got to go to Ohio and see the total eclipse here in April of 2024, and that was fun. So I thought it'd be good to look at people who think it's a good idea to look it in the eye, which you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. That's a bad move. So I'm gonna restart this video, because some of you might have just got here. It's only 2 minutes anyway. And once we do that, we'll move on to some more. Get your bingo cards ready. We are playing bingo, if you're interested.
YouTube, what it do? It's Joss.
What it do?
I'm just waiting for the solar eclipse right now, so I'm gonna make this video real short, because this is a spiritual time. We should be in hermit mode, you feel me?
If bald tanning's a thing, aren't eyes kind of the balls of the face? I have 0 semen in my eyes. In fairness, after the hormones, that's probably true for my downstairs eyes too, but, you know.
So
I like that he took a fat vape hit right before he's about to extol his genius knowledge on us. That's usually what I do. Right before stream, I take a fat bong rip before I extol my wisdom upon you all.
I made a lot of videos about the solar eclipse and the spiritual significance. However, in this video, I'm gonna be talking about sun gazing, you feel me? Yeah, as you can see, this draconic government has been preparing as well. You see all these fucking chemtrails, fake ass clouds. God and nature will prevail, you feel me? But oh,
I'm gonna use these eclipse glasses. I have electrolysis, and for that, she has a light that's on me that's really bright in my eyes. And normally I have, she has a bunch of, like, tanning goggles that she has, but they're not very comfortable, so I think I'm gonna keep these and use them for my electrolysis. But that is good to know that they recycle them.
now on the real, like, everybody's gonna tell you, don't stare at the sun, you're gonna get cancer. Dude, my neighbors are staring at the sun too. I'm staring at the sun.
Again, this is an interesting, I mentioned this when we tried this the first time, but the idea that somehow the number of people doing something foolish negates the foolishness of it. As if the universe runs on the same rules of they can't punish all of us. Like physical occurrences don't follow that rule. That's a social human limitation, not a limitation of the sun. Oh.
Fuck, I'm getting those spiritual downloads, baby.
Baby, gotta download that spirituality just like how Jesus intended.
Like my dad was talking about, like, oh yeah, I was talking to this person, I was getting my oil changed, and like, they said that their significant other is an eye doctor and they always get packed after the solar eclipse, but that's because those are beginners sun gazing. Sun gazing, it's like you gotta sun gaze.
You gotta work up to it like Rocky or Ralph Macchio.
15 minutes before or after sunrise. I mean, before sunrise or after sunset. And then after like a year,
there isn't a good way to stare at the sun. Like, you're not growing calluses over your cornea. Like, you're just hurting yourself. Please don't look at the sun. Please don't look at the sun.
You can look at the sun progressively during the daylight, you feel me? But yeah, like, I'm staring at the sun right now, you feel me? And like, I can kind of see like the rays and stuff. Like, if you're gonna do it gradually, but like, look at the rays, you feel me? So
I don't feel you. I don't feel you at all. In fact, everything you're putting out there makes me not want to feel it. Like, really rough felt. You ever have that? When I was a kid in school and there was like felt or construction paper, I don't want to touch it. I can't touch it. It's so rough. So I don't feel you. like construction paper.
Yeah, just look at the rays of the sun. Don't, like, look directly at it unless you've been doing it for, like, since COVID, like me, you feel me? And you should feel better. You should feel grounded.
Do I have any verbal tics like this? You know how some people repeat the same phrase over and over and over and over again? Do I do that? Am I blind to that? Is there a phrase I use constantly that's incredibly grating? Like, right on, or do you feel me? Please tell me. I will stop. I will stop forever.
Do it in the grass, you should feel grounded. So, yes, you
Was there a
can sun gaze,
hydrate?
but
I didn't see it, but I'll
don't
do
be
it.
stupid about it.
Yeah, don't look at the sun.
That's a motherfucking lie when they say,
I don't have a verbal tick? Good. Good.
You can go blind. And that's bullshit.
Oh, don't do that.
Y'all
Let me tell you, yesterday when I was at the Eclipse, this is of course before totality, but I was looking at it and I was being stupid and I accidentally kind of flashbanged myself for a second because I kind of moved the glasses too much accidentally and got a little bit of a just for a second before I was able to like, oh fuck, It hurts your eyes. And I did it accidentally for like 1 second, not even. It was immediate. It was like, you know. And I moved my face and my eyeballs. How is he staring at this thing directly?
see me looking dead at this motherfucking sun. I see the eclipse inside the sun. I'm looking right back at the camera. Fine. I see y'all just fine. Don't believe everything that you motherfuckers is hearing, because motherfuckers is lying to you. They don't want you to get that good information.
It's like they think you're supposed to look at it and it's gonna be the SpongeBob meme of my eyes! No, it is bad for you cumulatively. You are going to damage your vision and increase risks of cancers. Please stop. You are doing degenerative, progressive fucking damage the more you do this.
God, and this is somebody who looked at it with their own too. I took it personal. I was literally out in the eclipse, or during the eclipse, looking up at it outside. That's why I explained in my earlier videos when Bob Marley say there's a natural mystic in the air. I literally felt that. Whatever you want to call it. Like I said, magic, energy.
Mysticism. If you were to say there's mysticism in the air, that would be grammatically appropriate, though not true, literally. Metaphorically, sure.
It's really here. So with that being said, the things that I was already displaying about the black sun.
Degenerative says, on this logic, if you don't develop diabetes after 1 can of Coke, you're clearly immune to diabetes. That's my plan. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub. I laughed into my Coke and sprayed it on my face. Better.
I knew that it was way much more. Because here's the thing. Besides grounding, I was taught that sun gazing.
Grounding is a woo-woo practice of, touching grass with your feet. So it's literally just going outside and standing on the ground with no socks or shoes, which in and of itself is fine. That can be, like, mentally clearing for you. Like, I get that. That could be calming or something that you enjoy doing. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is they literally think it's a process of, like, you grounding yourself electromagnetically with energy into the earth, which it's not. It's just your brain having feelings, which is great. You should have feelings. It's basically all my brain does. You should do that. That's great. But don't come up with a woo-woo explanation why you want to go outside with your feet off, or with your shoes off. You can just do that and have fun. Relax. You don't have to make it mystical. That's fine.
Is the fastest way to charge your body. I was taught that sun gazing is the fastest way to receive vitamin D.
Who told you that? Who told you that? Your body The sun isn't beaming vitamin D into you. The sun is required for your body Hannah's so exasperated on the bingo card.
Go back to my videos where it almost looked like I have double pupils. And
Oh, that's probably good for you. I'm sure that's great. Is there any eye illness damage that looks like double pupils? Is he accidentally describing a horrific degenerative disease that he's given himself?
it's probably due to sun gazing or looking into the eclipse, but it's just the fact that
My worst nightmare is becoming blind. Because A, I fucking love movies, it's my main hobby, and B, I can't picture things in my head. I have aphantasia, so if the lights go out, they ain't ever coming back on for me. I got nothing. Darkness forever. Woo!
that is light and your pupil is dark. I'ma just say this. Whenever you start studying your own body, or whenever you start studying the human body, there are things literally out here specifically for you. And the sun is one of them. So looking into it wouldn't cause no harm in a sense. The sun does have its strong points, but like I said, there's times to where you are able to sun gaze, which is the earliest times, and it's usually when the sun sets or when it's setting. Because they don't want you to know, looking into the sun will kill majority of bacteria in you.
No, it won't! What are you talking about? You think that looking at the sun through your eyeballs is gonna cleanse your internal body?
Remember what I always said? That the only way to kill a parasite is to burn it? That sun will eliminate majority of illnesses out of you.
Who told you the only way to get rid of parasites is to burn it? Burning parasites is not the primary method of getting rid of parasites. What are you talking about? Do you just mean ticks? Do you mean burning ticks off?
Just get together and just enjoy things, hold hands, hug each other like, yo, look at that, it's so beautiful. So I'm not discrediting the fucking solar eclipse. When I say bullshit solar eclipse, I'm saying like the bullshit that they're making it seem to be. They're taking away the beauty of it, and they're making us look at it like, oh my God, we should be afraid of this. 2020 was a brand new year. We left the tens, right? And they took that, and in a matter of like a month or two, fucking plagued it with some bullshit. Kept us in the crib so we can't be out and be out there. Man, who knows? Maybe this shit is supposed to like give us some good energy, and they know it. Because the sun is some good energy. Like, I'm into sun gazing. I don't know if y'all, and I suggest you look into it before you just go out and gaze at the sun. But
Please stop. Get all of them, please stop. Please stop. Okay.
All over the place.
What did I want to watch first? Oh boy, this is interesting. This is from the guy who thinks that gold is everywhere. He sees fool's gold, and he thinks it's gold, which he certainly wouldn't be the first person to do that. Methinks. But, it gets deeper than that. It gets deeper than that. Fenekagami says, some good news, Nancy Pelosi has joined the petition of Democrats who are trying to pressure Biden to condition further offensive aid to Israel. It just sucks that it took the deaths of those world kitchen workers for us to get to this point. Yeah. Sucks.
Here we go.
Sun gazing heals the eyes. It's a well-known fact at this point. It doesn't. Oh, wait, no! Are you actually a conspiracy theorist? That's good for people who have that spot on the bingo card. Conspiracy theorist shows up in chat. On the bingo card, in YouTube chat. The man in the glass appears to be a conspiracy theorist advocating for the sun gazing, so there we go. That's fun. Mark that on your bingo cards. Chat, what do you think they're going to say about this? Because I've already watched part of this video, and it's incredible, but once I got to this frame, I knew exactly what he was going to say, because I have a stupid Will Graham brain that lets me read the minds of conspiracy theorists. So what do you think he's going to say about this log? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on what he thinks this log is? Anyone? Bueller? No? He thinks it's a person. He does think it's a person. He does think it's a person crawling and screaming in agony. Yeah, you can probably see the pareidolia if you're looking for it. The face is, like, nearest to me, like, right, like, where I'm pointing here. You see the nub? It'd be like a face that's, like, out like this. Like, crawling on all fours, hey. Get it? It says, what did I find? It's a log. It's a log of some kind. This guy is my favorite example. Him and Roger both. The pareidolia is to the point that it is just fascinating. I don't know how you can look at this stuff, and in fairness, this guy probably needs some general help. But, like, he is adamant that things are his first impressions. And I've been thinking about this and how to articulate it, and I think some of it has to do with conspiracy theorists being intuitive thinkers. And what I mean by that is you or I would probably have an initial thought or something. If we were to chart out our thought process consciously, you'll have an initial impression, and then that impression you'll take and you'll investigate it. You'll move it around, you'll compare it to your other beliefs and thoughts and models of the world, and you'll determine, is this initial impression right or wrong? You know what I mean? It's a starting point for you, and then you hopefully test it and think about it, etc. People who are hard intuitive thinkers don't do that. They get that initial first impression, and they're like, this is it. This is the reality, and anyone who tries to tell me different, they're lying to me. Kind of what's happening here. He has pareidolia, which everyone can be susceptible to. It's just a quirk of the human brain. But he has excessive pareidolia, and his initial impression is so strong, he will not listen to evidence otherwise. He is sure that he's right, because he feels it so strongly. To him, knowledge isn't something you obtain, it's something you discover within, and the more it feels good to believe it, or the truer it feels, quote unquote, the truer it is. That's what capital T truth is to people like this. It's interesting. Obviously a troll fossil. Funny. Does all wood come from trees? Yes. Actually, Hannah, the large South American tree bush is a bush that provides wood. It doesn't actually, it's not in the classification of tree, but it provides wood. Tree, we did learn that. We did learn that. Is metamorphosis real?
Hello everybody, thank you for being here. This is Wes with Eyes to See. And it's the middle of March, you guys, 2024.
Even the name of his channel is interesting. Eyes to See. Isn't that interesting? The primary thing that he uses in order to intuit or determine truth is his eyes. Literally. He trusts his eyes and his own initial impressions of what he sees. Eyes to see.
We're
telling about his priorities.
almost a quarter of the way through this year. Time is flying. Feels like it's going faster. We have part of the truther community occupied looking at buildings. We have another part of the truther community looking into the flat earth and the globe earth, and conveniently those topics keep...
when he says buildings, I'm not sure if he's talking about 9/11 or mountains being old buildings conspiracy. It could be either.
People mostly indoors at their computers, researching, looking at old buildings, looking at fake pictures of space, and sharing their opinions. And that makes me wonder if the other hot topics of the day, the other things the truthers are talking about...
Oh, Tartaria. You're right. They probably are talking about Tartaria.
Makes me wonder if it's not by design. It's got everyone indoors. I don't know. I'll tell you what, though, there is a lot outside if you have the eyes to see. You're looking at a field behind where I live, and in that field, I was helping some homeless that live back there. I found this piece of wood right here. It was right here on this hill right here. Just laying there
He's turned other conspiracies into his conspiracy. That's very common. That's incredibly common for conspiracy theorists, is any conspiracy theory they don't believe in isn't just a silly thing some other people believe that isn't true. If there's a conspiracy theory out there they don't believe in, it has to be a psyop created by the government or them in order to trick people into not paying attention to the real conspiracy theory that the subject does believe in. Nothing ever just happens for these people, even other conspiracy theories. No one is ever just wrong in their world. There's no such thing as people just being wrong. Everything is intentional, so if something is wrong, it's because someone is tricking you. That's how they see it.
Served for thousands of years, one might say. This thing on the surface, not buried under one grain of dirt, not even covered in grass. It was right there on the surface, suggesting that this didn't happen long ago. No, a piece of wood is what it was only for a moment. I thought I saw what looked like bone. Are my eyes lying to me, as it appears that this piece of wood was once alive?
Your eyes aren't lying to you, your brain is, and it's not a lie as much as it's a misclassification. Your brain is seeing this, and some part of your brain is lighting up that says, this looks like a person, this is a person, and that's an incorrect piece of information your brain is shooting out. It's not lying, it's just wrong.
Live. I see a beak. I see a face. I see hair.
Hair doesn't fossilize, so that doesn't even make sense.
I see a woman.
Hard tissue fossilizes.
I see an arm. I see what looks like a woman holding a child that also appears to be an animal.
It cannot be any and all of these things. That's interesting. He's willing to believe it's anything but just a trunk of a tree that's rotted over time, or whatever. It's everything but the thing it is. He feels this thing is suspicious and weird, so his brain is trying to figure out what is this thing, except the thing it is. That's not how his brain's thinking out of it, but that's what's happening.
Dog. I see so many faces, I see so many things that shouldn't be. What did I find here?
He has suspicion, and that suspicion is the prime mover for the conspiracy. That suspicion, his brain sees something, he can't put his finger on what, and now the theories begin. The Pareidolia starts to go, and he goes, does it look like this? It also looks like this. It looks like this. His brain is searching for an answer he can't find because it's giving him fake paranoia. It's giving him paranoia in a situation where there's nothing to be paranoid of. It's a tree. It's a stump. It's a piece of wood. Hey, Akintar. Thank you for the raid. Check out Akintar here on Twitch, please.
Is my imagination just a little too rich?
Yes.
I see a bird on an arm. So many of us walk through this world with all of the answers. I have no ego that says to me, don't be a fool and pick up that rock. Don't be a fool and turn over that piece of wood. In my own life, there hasn't been one person who I've shared my discoveries with who has gone out on their own and continued any research. Not one person. Shocking. Has me shocked. Literally, I no longer understand who I am sharing this earth with. I do not recognize people who I thought I knew. I'm talking a good 40 people. Family, coworkers, friends. Not one person has ever come back to me and said, "Hey, check out this rock I found." It's astonishing, really.
See, I feel like if someone had this lack of an ego that he's professing to have, one would hear everyone coming back to you and not seeing what you're seeing and having a second thought, having that self-consciousness, not in a negative way, but in a way of, wait a minute, am I wrong? Because everyone's fallible. Everyone makes mistakes, right? So I find it interesting that he's claiming to not have an ego, but also there's no pause given to the level of evidence that he is not correct.
But now I got you guys. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this thing. Let's see what we find, alright? We're going to have to ponder some possibilities as to what we're looking at, because I do not believe this was ever a tree. Look at this photograph I took. You see this part?
Look at this photograph!
Right here. Well, let's start at the top. Right here, I think we have a head.
Alright, it's labeled. Cool.
Right here, looks like a mouth.
Oh, that's not where I was going to put the mouth. I thought the mouth was on... Okay, so we're seeing different fake heads. See, this is the interesting thing about Pareidolia. What I might see might not be the same thing someone else sees, because we're both seeing things that aren't there. So your brain can do all sorts of tricks. See, that's not where I thought the mouth was. I thought it was a side profile like this, with like an exaggerated like jaw structure and stuff.
This part looks like a shoulder. A bony shoulder, if you will. Down here looks like...
Anatomically, that doesn't even make sense, though. There's not internal consistency in the model you're drawing.
Rest.
Unless they were just a Cronenbergian, like, throbbing mound of flesh.
Of an arm.
I just accidentally recreated, I have no mouth, but I must scream. There you go.
This looks like an arm that... I can't even explain it. Looks like its skin is literally falling off of the body.
He's so sure of his own subjective perception, it's incredible.
This looks like a lady. This looks like hair. This looks like an eye. And it looks like she's holding something.
Have tree... Wait a minute. It's a lady? Have random pieces of wood in the desert gone woke?
Thing.
Jeremy will do a 30-part series on this, I'm sure. Tea with Goblin says it's 7:05 a.m. and I have to teach 4 hours back-to-back, and I've had about 4 hours sleep. Please pray for me, but mostly for my poor students that must deal with overtired academic psychobabble. Always a delight to catch you for a live stream. Oh, thank you very much, Tea with Goblins. I hope your class goes great. Maybe pop on a video. Does that still work? Does that still work at their age? Put on a video? Give it a shot. Just put on one of my videos. Fuck it, I'll teach them. What kind of class is it? What do I need to teach them about? I'll do a quick Google. I can fill an hour.
It looks like she is holding... I don't even know what to call that.
Undergrad sociology. Oh yeah, I could bullshit that. You know, I'll just do my hour-long routine on the crowd. Crowd work on the crowd. I'll just be like, have you read The Crowd boy, did he sure have disdain for the population. Maybe he was right. Cue laugh track. I know when people laugh, because I imagine it in my head. And I'm always right about when I think I'm being funny.
The next picture I'm going to show you maybe a bit disturbing. All of this might be a bit disturbing. Maybe I should put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. Let's take a look at the next photo. This appears to be a head.
How many heads does this thing have?
With the hair,
Some kind of
the
homunculi.
skin, everything falling off of it. This is a tooth right here. I know this is just wood, but
You're seeing the baby from Eraserhead? Do you need a hug?
look at it.
If you haven't seen Eraserhead, that baby's just... It's meat. It's all just meat.
Here we see this thing almost resting on its arm right here. This looks like an elbow. And it's resting. And whatever it's holding is right here
You always
Held.
need a hug. Me too.
in her
Right.
arm. Yet there's a beak now on this side of her.
Oh, see, in my head that was the chin. My bad. Of course it's the beak. Of course this human holding a baby and there's bone also has a beak. Makes sense.
What is happening to this lady?
Maybe a centaur from New Vegas? Ooh, no, I want to play New Vegas. I'm a stereotype sometimes.
Look at this. It's absolutely
Not a cat
unbelievable.
girl, though. So that's
Here
good.
is this piece on its back. You can see, again, this looks like an arm holding something right here. Here's that thing that she's holding. And then here's the beak again.
Oh no, one who reads this. The narrator thinks that this piece of wood used to be a living being and is describing what kind of living being they thought it was.
Here I have it standing up against a fence.
This is boring. You stare at the sun!
This looks like hair.
You literally advocated for staring at the sun earlier. I don't care what you think is boring. I'm not gonna get roasted by people who look at the sun. I refuse.
Arm. And you can see this thing in her arm. Almost looks like a dog. I mean, it appears this is some sort of metamorphosis.
I am gonna
that
get
it-
past the point where he's just talking about the fucking log shape, though.
And
Oh, he hoisted it up. That's a normal thing to do with that log.
now we get
At least you get vitamin D. Not through your eyeballs, dipshit! Not through your eyeballs, you stupid motherfucker!
a different perspective, and we can
Sorry, I shouldn't be mean. They're gonna be blind someday. I shouldn't be mean to an almost blind person. Oh.
see what it almost looks like she's holding. From this side, it looks like a face. That's what I see. And then it snowed on this, and you get a different look at it with it being wet. can almost see the muscular part of this.
Okay, the Conspiracies here, a sun-gazing person is literally just doing bullet points I talked about earlier, so they're just trolling me.
It's very, very...
They have the general from Doctor Strangelove as a profile. That is true. Our bodily fluids! I didn't notice. That is good. You're gonna have to answer to the Coca-Cola Corporation.
Very detailed.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, this is what's out.
If you haven't seen Doctor Strangelove, by the way, I would highly recommend it. Great movie. That's probably my favorite Kubrick film.
There in the world.
And he's done some good movies. If you've heard of him.
Right on the surface.
Yeah, there was someone tinfoiling in the YouTube chat, but I think they're a troll. A pretty good troll. And I always appreciate a Strangelove reference, so they get a little bit of a pass.
A wrist. And a hand.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
This looks like a man. There we go.
Dimitri. The phone call bit is the best. Now I'm just talking about Strangelove. Dimitri. Now, Dimitri, of course I just want to call you. One of our generals went and did something, well, a little silly.
This looks like a man. I mean, that's what I see. So all of this is just very, 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 very strange. Absolutely.
Anonymous, thanks for gifting a sub.
And you may even be frightened by it. And that's the point. You see, let me tell you guys that this topic of rocks being something other than what we've been told is far more related to our world than anyone thinks. And what you've been looking at in this video and my other videos, these things were found right on the surface. All of my specimens were found right on the surface. And I don't know what it...
God forbid he ever digs.
Construct.
Alright, enough of him. This is the most ominous, just flat text on a white background ever, isn't it? Look at that. These two words disgust me together. Don't worry, that's not what we're watching next. You don't have to click off. Oh, Chris isn't doing great. Chris is not doing great. Let's check this out. Messy Jaden, thank you for gifting a sub.
All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
It'd be worse if it was urine fisting. That's just extreme sounding. That's like sounding and fisting to get... Oh god, what am I doing? This is a show, this is a serious show. This is a serious show. This isn't a show where we talk about piss and shit and balls. This is a show where we talk about the very serious topic of conspiracy theories and how they're slowly eroding the fabric of our society. Also, P's pretty funny sometimes. DM Trey, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
4-6. 24. Okay. All right. Couple things here. I just want to brush by you. You know, I'm sorry I wasn't able to do a Think About It Friday, but let's do it on a Saturday. Why not? Okay.
Because the alliteration doesn't work half as well.
Here we have a couple of questions. Yes, we do. As a Flat Earth person here.
Hold on, he's being a little quiet. It's because his wife is home. At the end, she starts to walk in and he shuts the video off real quick and it's hilarious. So keep an eye out for that.
We have a problem. That there is no camera on the moon. Okay. Apparently, we landed on the moon in 1969.
The no balls stream. I wish. I haven't had... I wish. I don't have that surgery scheduled yet. Okay. Hannah regrets what she just said on the bingo card.
And there's no camera on there. You know, yet Voyager 1 is sending amazing information. And actually video. Well, pictures or something. From all the way out in outer space. Isn't that amazing? But yet we couldn't plant a camera on the moon to look down.
Worm lesbians, thanks for following. Chris, we've been to the moon more than just in 1969. We went back multiple times, and we have footage of all of it. They didn't leave a camera up there, but there are mirrors, and the mirrors can be used to show that we've been there. We're gonna go back sometime this decade, so that's pretty dope.
Or up, or wherever it may be, doesn't make a difference. To look at Earth. It would be great for the weatherman, wouldn't it? I would think. For hurricanes, to save us all. But yet there is nothing. Nothing but bullshit.
Is he under the impression that you can visually look at the Earth and get all of the information you need to make, like, weather broadcast information? Because barometers are a thing. The weather isn't just if it's cloudy or not. Like, there's stuff that you measure beyond just, look at that! Okay. Messy Jaden says, holy shit, I just realized why CC's so fascinating to me. It's because he's exactly like my dad. I am so sorry. Oh no. Now I'm trying to think which conspiracy theorist that we cover is the closest to my dad. Let me think for a second. Chili reminds me a little of my dad. Terrence Pop's pretty good. I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Okay, lottery. Take a look at it. It's up to, what is it? $1.2 billion.
Call? No, my dad is far less articulate than call.
Now, okay. Why don't we have a camera on the lottery machines? You know,
It's even in the cadence and the way he speaks, his body type, it's uncanny. That's unfortunate.
The balls that are rolling around, you know, when they actually do the thing, which is actually going to happen in about an hour and 15 minutes. Why isn't there any cameras on that?
Why aren't there... Again, you want cameras on the moon. There will be at some point, probably in our lifetime. Oh wait, no, he's not talking about the moon at this point. This is when he's talking about the lottery. I forgot he switches to the lottery for no reason.
Have a camera on the lottery machines. You know, the balls that are rolling around.
Chris, for those who don't know, doesn't just not believe in space or the moon or the sun. He doesn't believe that, like, sports are real or that elections are real or the lottery is real. He thinks everything is faked. So he thinks the lottery is fake. Hydrate.
You know, when they actually do the thing, which is actually going to happen in about an hour and 15 minutes.
After this video, I actually need to go get more water. I haven't drank enough water today, and I'm very thirsty, and this is almost out.
Why isn't there any cameras on that? Monitoring?
He does believe in gorillas, to my knowledge, though we do have a Hans video for later.
What the hell is going on? And monitoring who's touching those balls.
I don't think he's aware, like, the lottery is genuinely, like, very secure, because in the past, people did cheat at it, and they got caught. Like, it's very, 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 very locked down now, and the way that it works is, the balls, it depends upon the machine they're using, but usually they're sort of, like, getting blown around now, and then it gets sucks into like a tube up here, and the balls get tested for weight and stuff to make sure that it's not cheating. Like, the state doesn't want people defrauding them, believe it or not. They're not big fans of that, so they do check.
Sorry, I didn't mean for it to come out that way. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to come out that way. That's great. But I mean, really, think about it.
Jaden says, I wonder if CC ever thinks that his own marriage is fake. I haven't gotten the most charitable read of his marriage, and I want to know how far he thinks the rabbit hole goes. He doesn't think it's fake, but there's tension between he and his wife. It's interesting to see. And the reading between the lines.
But, I mean, really, think about it. Those balls should not be touched at all. They should
Always ask for consent before you touch the balls.
be in a container for years. But all you get...
CC does have at least one kid.
is this bullshit with, I don't know what her name is. I have no idea because I don't watch it. But, I mean, you know, this woman who comes up, I'm sure it's going to be a woman that's going to, you know, call all the numbers that come up there. But who's in control of the balls? Okay?
Probably. God damn it, stop making... Give me a second to reset my brain. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're moving on.
Why is there not a camera on that 24 hours a day to monitor it?
Touching balls on the bingo card? If you can find touching balls on the bingo card, yes, mark it.
Moderate it. There's nobody. Just shows up, numbers come up, you have no idea. There should be a live feed on that canister with all the numbers, I mean, with all the containers that contain these balls.
Oh, here she comes! Here comes his wife, and he's about to freak out. Watch. He's gonna shut off the camera so quick.
Balls. And
He doesn't know what to do. He wants to finish it, but she's on the way.
they should be monitored. Okay, alright, thank you for something. Thank
Okay, alright, bye.
you for reviewing my videos on maybe a part of your life.
Oh, Chris. It's good to have Chris back. He was gone for about 3 weeks. Glad to have him back. Oh, what else we got?
Just checking out the Eclipse.
With his bare eyes again, and it is not in totality when he is looking at it. He's just looking right at the goddamn sun.
It's gotten to a point now where I can stare directly at the sun and see what's going on with it. It's
1 second.
like right about now, I mean, it looks like a crescent moon. That's crazy.
It does. It did look like a crescent moon because the moon was in front of the sun. So part of it was blocked out and it looked like a crescent. You shouldn't be looking with your eyes.
And I just happen to be in, you know, one of the states where it's path of totality. So that's pretty cool. We'll see what happens. Like if anybody's even here, I can't see the numbers because I'm staring at the sun. So
Hydrate. Oh shit, I didn't go fill the water. Be right back. Thanks for the reminder. Cool. Overthought says, actually, it's croissant moon. Funny. What actually happens if I do this? Do you want to see how dark these glasses are, chat? Here, you can stare at the sun now. Give me a sec. See? Now I don't have to be self-conscious during stream anymore. It's just like you're watching the eclipse.
What do you see? Can you see anything? Does it look weird?
Yeah, if you've never had these before, you literally cannot see through them at all unless you're looking directly at the sun. The only thing you can see if you're staring through these is the sun. Like, I have a ring light right here that's like a strong ring light. Like, here it is when it's off, for reference. Ring light off. Ring light on. I cannot see even a little bit of it with these. Black. Completely. It's pretty incredible.
Let me flip the camera around. Hold on. Flip the camera. Let's see, is that...
Vic, thank you for subscribing on YouTube.
Huh. Anyway. Not really doing a whole lot as far as that goes. But, yeah. Interesting times out here. It's like, I'm outside working on a chicken coop, and,
It's great. Work on the chicken coop. Don't stare at the sun, please. Stop it. Get some help. Undying says, my family and I got dressed in space science shirts and got, the glasses to watch. Yeah, I wore thematic stuff. I was wearing these leggings, which are, like, galaxy-themed. And that's the only piece of visible clothing I was wearing that was space-themed.
hey, you settle down. Back here, it's a little bit darker out here. Okay, fine. And, this guy's acting weird.
Oh, Getty.
Shadow, you're acting weird, man. I'm saying I just petted you while I was trying to get the video started up again. You just cut that out. He's not that clingy when we're outside, honestly. He gets to go out and kind of do his own thing.
Sorry, now I'm just getting sucked into watching this cute cat. Gotta move on. Can't be happy. Gotta look at conspiracies. Gotta stress myself out. Ow, wow, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Ow. Oh. JP Black, 79, with 29 months, says, saw a thing earlier about the Google search inputs for why do my eyes hurt spiked yesterday afternoon. You'd think they'd guess, you know? Did I look at the sun in the last 5 minutes? Could that maybe be it? Here's a January 6th defendant being very strange about them potentially having a phone they're not supposed to have in jail. Maybe. They're kind of weird about it. Let's check it out.
I'm gonna ask you though, the first question that everyone's asking, because I was fishing one day listening to you doing a podcast with someone, I forget who. How the hell are you in a DC gulag having access to phones doing
gulag? He's comparing Washington DC prison jail to a gulag.
Podcasts, having access to the internet, whereas I understood like that's either a privilege that many people don't get, or I presume it's not illegal.
So this is by God's grace. I've been surrounded by such an amazing support.
Did God's grace smuggle a cell phone into the jail for you? That was nice of God's grace.
System.
And the mule.
Through January 6th.
Oh, I really fucking hurt my knee. That's bruising up. I can feel it.
We have volunteers. I have a staff. And so where there's a will, there's a way, Viva. Basically, the way that all my podcasts work and interviews is I call out to either my fiance, Rachel.
Oh, fans of my Sobsit stuff should maybe see a problem here immediately.
Out to either my fiance, Rachel, God bless her soul, or one of my assistants or one of the volunteers from the J6 groups. And they literally will put me on speakerphone.
Yeah, he's been interviewed by Silk before.
Butt to butt with another phone to connect, or they will patch it in through like Tape a Call app, and they will just three-way call whoever I'm bringing on my podcast, and we just figure out a way. So I call in through the jail phones and we three-way it to you like we're doing right now, or we...
A lot of jails have policies against three-way calls. Now, perhaps that's not against the jail that he's in which case, great. But many prisons, many jails do have a policy against three-way calling, because they like to know who you're calling specifically. They don't like there to be third parties on the phone call. And in the case of another person I cover, Chili, the jail, rather, considers streaming third-party phone calls, and they aren't allowed. So I'm wondering if he's going to get in trouble if he gets caught. Guess we'll see.
We go butt to butt sometimes. If we can't even get a three-way going, we get two cell phones linked up to one another, and we just make it happen. I mean, when you're a prisoner, if you know one thing about prisoners, they will fashion anything to make it happen. When you have time on your hands, you figure out how to...
I'm just going to gloss over the butt to butt comment.
Make it happen.
Butt to butt, back and forth forever.
And I give God the glory for that, because we have been able to reach tens of millions of people through, these kind of like MacGyvered methods.
Well, now having figured out...
I think we watched very different MacGyver shows.
Is one thing, and I don't want to get you in trouble. This is my main concern in doing this was not the internal drama that I've recently discovered, but I don't want to get you in trouble, and I don't want you to say something that's going to come back to bite you in the ass because you're awaiting trial. What you're doing is, if it weren't allowed, they would have let you know by now.
Is that how that works?
Well, first of all, I'm an open book. Everything I did on January 6th, I'm proud of. I think that the January 6th
sure the judge will be glad to hear that.
Patriots stood up against tyranny that day.
Harold Elberman, thanks for a 45 stream streak.
We had peaceful intentions in our heart. We didn't bring weapons. I mean, you're talking about it.
We had peaceful intentions in our hearts when we, beat up a bunch of Capitol police and guards to get into the Capitol to, stop Congress from doing their job and certifying the election. And, there were people there with weapons and zip cuffs and tactical gear and going around in tactical formations trying to find people. And sure, some people got killed. What are you gonna do? It's a day at the Capitol. They're just tourists. Who doesn't die on a normal day hanging out at the Capitol? Very peaceful. Normal, in fact.
A group of...
The gaslighting is frustrating more than anything. The gaslighting gets me.
Conservative, Republican, Trump supporters, probably 90...
Maybe it's because I'm a girl boss, and that's my job.
5% or more are gun owners, and so there was no guns in the crowd.
Jesus Christ. What an asshole. Recording in car on the bingo card.
What's up, folks? So I
Ooh,
noticed
there was a 32 months. Nearly Illuminativersary month. Huzzah for 2 years and 8 months. That is nuts.
I had a recent influx of idiotic, brainless...
I didn't tell you, and I don't want to be too specific because it's a friend of mine, but a friend of mine works at a law firm. This is a friend I've had since high school. We both did a mock trial thing together. I was the defense. She was the prosecution. My side won. The client was Genghis Khan. Anyway. So she's an actual lawyer now, and I do this for a living, so I guess she won long term. And a client came in to her, not her law firm. She's not like a partner or anything. She just works there. But the law firm she works at and was a January 6th defendant. Oh, yeah. The law firm refused the case. To be clear, the actual case was not the January 6th stuff. It was more complicated than that. Involved a militia that she claimed was needed to be kicked out of her house. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Complete lack of critical thinking comments in my channel lately. So I knew somebody had made a video about me. That's how you can always tell when these anti-flat earth triggered, desperate for attention, and the few pennies they make off of their clan of anti-flat earth imbecile audience.
I'll have you know, I make at least 5 hay pennies a week, okay? I'm rolling in it.
Have been stinking up the joint.
Idiot says they're a genius on the bingo card.
And it just got me to thinking once again, who are the real conspiracy theorists in regards to the flat earth topic? I don't think I truly know anyone that claims the earth is flat, rightfully so, because it is, that hasn't done a large amount of research into the topic.
My research said by a not researcher on the bingo card.
We heard sometime last year Justin Trudeau himself say that millions, hear that, millions, we don't know if it's 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, but millions, okay, of people suddenly believe the earth is flat.
I don't think it's millions.
So,
I very much don't think it's millions. They always overestimate. That's interesting.
who are the...
I guess I'm assuming that. I don't have a hard figure on that, but I find it hard to believe millions and millions of people really believe in flat earth. I don't have numbers on that, though. That's a vibe.
conspiracy theorists?
A bit is 2 hay pennies, that it is.
Those people that, after looking at the topic objectively, questioning what they were told their entire lives, and forced to
Oh,
believe
did he say just Canada? Oh, that's way off then. That's way off.
in
I think that number's fucked globally, and there are billions of people on the planet.
through faith and faith alone.
If I had to guess, and this is, bear in mind, this is completely vibes-based, this is bullshit, I'm not claiming this is anything other than my vibe on it. Based on the number of people I see on the internet doing content about Flat Earth, based on the conventions I've seen, based on the popularity or lack thereof of their content, even within their own spheres, under 100,000 on the whole planet. Like, that seems like a lot, but in like 8 billion people, that's not that much. I think it's probably around 100,000 people globally. And that's people who are like into it, not just like don't know better. Like, I'm sure there are people somewhere on the planet who don't have access to like formal education, who might not have even really thought about it, or they have a more traditional religious cosmology that's different. But like, I wouldn't count that. We're talking about this kind of flat earth. The conspiratorial internet flat earth, as opposed to some sort of like indigenous like belief or something like that, because they're very different.
Once they objectively looked at it, evaluated the science of the situation, came up to the obvious conclusion that the heliocentric model is not only not real, it is a scientific impossibility. Or is it the people that not only believe the scientific impossibility, that is the heliocentric model, is real, but they also believe that a bunch of people just went crazy. Millions of people,
Again, don't think it's millions.
just went crazy all at once.
Millions of people believe stupid things all the time, for the record. Like, I'm not excluding myself from that. I'm sure there's plenty of stupid beliefs that I have that I don't realize are stupid, because I wouldn't know, you know? I believe them, so how would I know? Everyone believes some wrong things. sometimes a lot of people believe popular wrong things. Doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't matter. You can't say a bunch of people believe this, therefore it's true. Even within the thing you're saying, most people don't think the Earth is flat, so for all of a sudden making it a popularity contest, like you get a vote in reality, all of a sudden, wouldn't that mean that round Earth is right? Because more people believe that? It's completely nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. Moira Soma with 100 bits says, I read about 2% of the Earth's population thinks the world is flat. There are a lot of Africans who believe it, also a lot of fundamental Muslims. See, that's what I was talking about as opposed to this modern flat Earth movement. If there are, like, traditional cultures from certain places in the world without formal education, or at least not formal education to the level of what we would consider a, man, this language is full of, like, yikesy things, but developed nations. You know what I mean. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Mark Sargent version of Flat Earth that isn't just based off, I don't know better, but based off of, I do know better than experts. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a difference between someone who just believes a thing because they don't know better, and someone who's, like, psychologically using this as a coping mechanism to unexplain the world around them. They are categorically different, in my view. Like, if I was to make some sort of, like, taxonomic categorization, this would be very different than someone who's, like, you know, somewhere in the world where they're less open, or have less access to information, and just might be basing it off of, I don't know, everything looks flat. Or they have religious traditions that say so.
And just decided to start saying the Earth was flat.
People who are new to it versus true to it. Yeah, that gives basically the idea I'm trying to say.
For attention. I could see it if it was a...
I'm sure the other kind of flat earther is interesting in its own right. I just, personally, this kind is the kind I'm interested in because it falls into that delusional conspiratorial realm as opposed to just being wrong.
Couple.
Though they are certainly also that.
1,000 people, that might make sense. But to think that like they act like it's a contagious disease or something. Did COVID cause all these people to think the Earth was flat?
Not COVID itself, but there have been discussions about how during COVID, because people had a lot more time on their hands and many of them were home and not at work, or working from home, they had a lot of extra time and stress, and those two things combined lead to people developing paranoid and conspiratorial narratives in their worldviews. That's a known thing.
So these people, once again, they think they're so brilliant, yet they're the imbeciles running around.
Idiot says they're a genius on the bingo card.
Thinking millions, according to Justin Trudeau himself, of people just went nuts or went retarded and decided to
Yikes.
Run around stating it's absolute fact, scientific method-based fact, that the Earth is flat.
Doesn't understand the scientific method on the bingo card.
And that the heliocentric model, a whirly-twirly vacuum barrierless vacuum ball in space, is a lie. A lie that was very intentionally told to the world and drummed into their brains since they were tiny children in order to control their worldview and remove God from their emotions, their psyche.
Again, most people believe in some sort of God. The number one religion in the world is Christianity, which is his religion as well. Not sure what denomination he finds himself in, but broadly, Christians. Biggest religion in the world. I do not and have never understood why conspiracy theorists that are Christian say, or flat earthers specifically, they're lying to you about the shape of the Earth to hide God from you. They're doing a terrible job then, because again, we have known the Earth is round longer than Christianity has existed. Like, the knowledge that the Earth is round predates Christianity. So that's just a bonkers belief, huh?
Their mind completely. And it just so happens all these
No. Christianity, I believe, is the biggest. Islam is faster growing, so it will overtake Christianity at some point, most likely.
anti-flat earth trolls are
But currently, Christianity is still the biggest.
triggered by God to no end. That seriously cracks me up. But there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. What can I say? Yeah, so the hypocrisy of these morons running around calling flat earthers conspiracy theorists, when again, flat earthers have scientific method-based science on their side to
He said it, so it has to be true.
reach the absolute factual conclusion the earth is a level plane. Yet meanwhile, these people claim they live on a whirling, twirling, millions of miles an hour traveling vacuum ball with no barrier between us and the vacuum of space. And they believe that millions of people just all of a sudden went crazy or stupid to decide the earth was flat. That's their logic. And yet they call us unhinged conspiracy theorists.
Yep. That maniacal laugh with the ever-increasing noise of the airplane is, like, horrifying. That was incredible.
And yet they call us unhinged conspiracy theorists.
Jesus Christ! If I saw that in a movie, I'd be like, that's a little on the nose. Oh. And they call us crazy. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. I'm back. Is Profane Priestess here, by the way? Because there was a book that I told you about, and you were like, tell me if you find it, because I couldn't remember the name, and I found it. So if Profane Priestess is here, let me know.
Well,
oh, that's him again. We're not watching him again. Ooh, this one's about... You are here. Great. So this is the book I was telling you about that had the different mythical creatures and stuff in it with the illustrations. It's called Mythopedia. Let me actually pull this up here. It's called Mythopedia. It's very nice. It's got like a nice texture on it too. I don't know if you can see, but it's like... It's not just smooth. It's like got a almost woven texture to the cover. And it's separated out by continent, so you have the Americas, Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania. Nice little illustration just for the introduction. People by a campfire. Does it have stats? No. I do have a different book called Monsterology that does different mythical, like, creatures and monsters that does do stats, and that one's fun. Nice little thing for the Americas. Quetzalcoatl, and the art is just so beautiful. I love all the art in this book. There's a local horror bookstore near me that is just incredible, and they have great stuff like this. Lots of really great coffee table books and interesting stuff on either crime or the supernatural, stuff like that. Very cool. And we get to a different section. Here's another one from later in the book. I think this is from the Asia section, I'm guessing. I'm not sure though. But yes, this thing is great. Ooh, Basilisk. That's a good one too. And it has the different myths associated. So like it'll tell you about the creature, and then usually it'll have, not all of them have it, but many will have like a little story that goes along with it that explains, like here's one about Fenrir. This one's great. This one was my favorite one I read about in this book, and it's the squirrel that scurries up and down the world tree in Norse mythology and spreads rumors. Love that thing. Hell yeah. What's the book called? Mythopedia. It's probably available wherever books are sold. So check it out. Butterflies in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. Hannah's Rainbow. Hannah's Rainbow. I'm no LeVar Burton, but you're welcome. Tea with Goblin says, are there any entries from indigenous Australian traditions? Yeah, that's the Oceania section. Because Oceania is, Australia. Yeah, this whole last section has some... The Tiddalik, whatever that is. Looks like a frog of some kind. Rainbow Serpent. Oceania. Sorry. Abaya. Yeah. So they have a few.
Welcome to Bob Larson Live. Tonight, married to a demon spouse?
Go on.
Until recently, the subject
Is anyone into monsters here? Is anyone into monsters? You're probably gonna like this one.
of having a demon lover
A
was
demon
considered
lover? Who would be interested in such a thing? What? That's weird. What? What do you... What? Bob, what do you... What?
taboo, but no more. Cohabiting with a spirit by means of incubus or succubus is a topic now discussed all over the internet. Stories on social media.
Okay, hypothetical question. Very hypothetical. Let's say I'm in a cemetery and I hear a ruckus and I come across an evil ritual that a priest is doing to try and bind a succubus to him as well as an angel, and I kill him and some of the blood splashes on my face, and unbeknownst to me, even though I tried to save her, the succubus is bound to me, and then it's out of my hands. That's not on me. That's not on me if that happens. I was trying to do a good thing. It's not my fault if I'm accidentally bound to a succubus.
The gamut from terrifying to alluring. Having the ultimate romantic
Sounds like the start of a harem anime. It's a book.
partner from the spirit world. Some think that their immaterial lover is a
This would be a great time to have an Audible sponsorship, but oh boy, I don't.
spiritual twin flame. The issue isn't new to me. I've confronted this matter and dealt with demons of supernatural lovers thousands of times. In this controversial topic tonight, married to a demon spouse, I'm going to separate fact from fiction. This is not something that you necessarily want small children to watch. A parental advisory in regards to this. However, because this stuff is so readily accessible in social media, I'm going to let you make the decision as a parent regarding what age your children should become aware of this.
At what age do you need to warn your children not to become monster fuckers?
Probably are already aware of this, unfortunately from the wrong perspective. Speaking of things that are a bit controversial, the new monthly feature for April on X Dunamis, our streaming.
X Dunamis is his streaming service. Bob is trying to start his own streaming service, because of course he is. He's a little late, but here we are.
Platform is part 2 of the possession of Haitian spirits via voodoo.
It always gets racist with him.
If you watch part 1 and you are a subscriber to X Dunamis, you heard the remarkable story of a young man in his early 20s who got as deep into black magic as you can get, and he specifically summoned 72 of the most powerful demons that he could find in Haitian voodoo to get their power. Now that was part 1, exclusively seen on X Dunamis, our streaming platform. We've just uploaded part 2. Part 1 did not show the actual exorcism, though you need to see that to understand what's in part 2. Now part 2 is up there, the exorcism itself of these incredible demons. If you have...
Altered Undying says, now I'm reminded of a convo with my European friend. He was like, you can tell this ghost video is fake because who has a picnic in a cemetery? I'm like, oh, I used to do that all the time when I was young. Look at the stones, enjoy the plants. He thought this was very strange, but accepts it's a North American thing. Yeah, I've had friends and stuff who are into that. Janerdy says, he's terrible cosplay Gandalf. He fails exactly when he means to.
Not subscribe to X Dunamis, please do so today.
You can, Harold Elbelman, and I'll read it, but I do get it. I've talked about it at length, how exoticizing other religions and folding them into your religion, but as demons is like classic, like, colonist shit. Like, I don't mean that just as a pejorative, I mean it as a point of fact. That is historically often how people who were colonizing dealt with other religions, was to be like, they're demons in my religion. It's fucked up.
It's a win-win for both of us. Your monthly gift of $20 gives you access.
Bob is not looking good here, by the way. I don't know what that is, but he is looking worse for wear.
That tax-deductible support allows you to have the opportunity to watch hundreds of videos on young man. He had this experience.
I'm gonna skip to the actual interview with the guy who he claims has a demon wife. Let's hear what the demon spouse experience is like.
So he saw me on YouTube. I'm the Holy Spirit. Let me take you right now to that virtual encounter. Here's what happened.
I love that Bob can do exorcisms over fucking Zoom. That's incredible. That's literally incredible in the literal sense. Oh.
I anoint you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and I submit your life to Christ. I want you to start out by saying, I belong to Christ.
I belong to Christ.
Whatever is happening to me,
whatever is happening to me,
opposes my relationship to Christ.
I feel like Bob was having a little trouble thinking about what the next line was for a second.
opposes my relationship to Christ.
Therefore, it has to leave.
Therefore, it has to leave.
I close every door.
I close every door
That I open to the devil.
that I open to the devil.
And my ancestors opened to the devil.
Ugh. Get to the performance.
I cancel any witchcraft.
I cancel any witchcraft.
The little squint in the face.
Any spiritual marriage.
Any spiritual marriage.
I did not take part in that ceremony.
I did not take part in that ceremony.
I will not be bound by it.
I will not be bound by it.
I belong to Christ.
I belong to Christ.
I renounce the worship of Python.
I renounce the worship of
Christ.
Because I belong to Christ.
Any disease.
Any disease.
Oh my God, he's just repeating him.
Cancel it by the blood of Christ.
I cancel it by the blood of Christ.
Talk about your hot demon
And
wife.
So they were in witchcraft, and that witchcraft came on this man. And Jezebel, you came from there because you had the right to, because he was...
The idea he's married to a demon, I think, because it's not his fault. A lot of the time, Bob will make it a generational curse thing, and by that he means your ancestors weren't following Christianity, so of course you have a demon. Stupid foreigner is basically his thought. He's got really gross, racist boomer energy, and I hate it.
He's illegitimate. And his Bantu ancestors did witchcraft as well. You've attacked his health. You're trying to kill him. Aren't you? You were trying to kill him. Are you trying to kill him?
Yes.
That was a pretty good read. Yes. I've seen worse.
So we have a spirit of witchcraft, death, and Jezebel.
It's always Jezebel, that whore.
And we also have Python, right? Right?
I can make weird noises into a microphone too. Just a thought. Doesn't mean you have a demon.
All right. But there was already a curse in the family
And this possessed, it's true.
that set him up with this girl.
Why would a possessing demon want to kill their host? Don't they get, like, powers or whatever? I'm actually not sure. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It works on the logic of the movie The Exorcist more than anything. Toreador says, I wasn't sinning. I was spiritually traveling. I did not enter into covenant with God. He has no jurisdiction here.
This family curse, is it through the mother or father? Mother or father? Answer me.
Oh, he got his prop cross up. You better answer him. He's serial this time. It's over a webcam. Isn't it incredible that on, like, laptops and stuff or tablets, the demons never think to just shut it down? Like, they're not in a room with this guy. It's a Zoom call. Hang up? It's not wooden because he sells these. Because they're metal, he can put a premium price tag on them. I'm not joking. He sells these on his website. These are official Bob Larson crucifixes.
No.
Answer
Not that hard.
me. Was it the father? Yes or no? What?
Yes.
Okay. How many generations
to eat this week at Quiznos? Subs 241.
does this witchcraft go back?
Fenekagami says so many priests are jealous of the sinners who get to fuck Jezebel. All their hate of her feels like it should have been me. By the way, missed earlier bit. Sorry. God, I wish that were me. I'll get to him in a sec. Toriador says, you've heard of Teledoc, now try Telefrock, online blessings, decursings, and general demonic exorcisms, done from the convenience of home. Let me find that last one. What was that? Let me look on my thing. Oh, it's like 6 minutes ago. That's why. That threw me off. Fedekagami says, with guys like this, it's always hypocrisy as an argument, or incredulity, or disgust, or absurdity. Conspiracy theorists always tout superiority or of their, quote, evidence, but never seem to be amazed by their discoveries when they talk about them. They constantly talk about how stupid you should feel for disagreeing with them. It's all about feeling superior. Yeah, that's pretty common.
Back. How many generations? Give me the number. 7. 7 generations? Is that what you said? You said 7. 7 generations.
700.
Moira Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
I want to hear it clearly. Give me the number.
7.
Okay, 7.
He primes them with stuff. It's sort of like cold reading, but with extra steps. He primes them with numbers, except in this case. It's kind of like reverse cold reading. It's like hypnotism. It's like stage hypnotism.
700?
700?
700. This goes way, way back. Many hundreds of years ago. Witchcraft with a father. Then the curse of illegitimacy. Got him into pornography. You brought this demon-possessed woman with Jezebel. Python comes from his father's bloodline. Jezebel comes from the girl, and they meet. Is this the way it happened? Is that the
Improv is yes and.
way it happened?
Yes.
Okay. What?
I don't think they're working on... I mean, it's possible, but no, he does this as a service and posts these all the time. This is like his main job, is he does these Zoom exorcisms, and he posts ones that he thinks are good enough to bring in other people.
You what?
No, Bob isn't Catholic.
Leviathan.
Who rules this kingdom, Leviathan or Python?
Who does number 2 work for?
Leviathan.
Answer the question, Leviathan or Python, who rules this kingdom?
Fenekagami says, just once can demons talk about their hosts like Gollum with the One Ring. God wants them back. No, he can't have them back. They're mine. My precious. We together forever. My throat's fucked. Too many demon voices.
Look at me, Leviathan. I call up Leviathan to judgment. Look at me, Leviathan. Say, I, Leviathan. Say it clearly, I, Leviathan. Say, I, Leviathan.
No, I don't think they're good enough to be actors. Even, like, because, again, I've seen him do this many, many times. If they were actors, he would get better actors. Like, Fiverr exists.
Leviathan.
No, they pay a lot of money for this. Like, hundreds of dollars in many cases.
With Jezebel. With Jezebel.
The Exorcism's about a half hour. I'm skipping through, though.
Gosh.
700 generations.
He with Goblin says, I think demons should sound like Carol Channing. Speak, demon, tell me your name. Raspberries.
700 generations.
We lift the curse of witchcraft from sex.
Hold on.
Lift the curse of witchcraft from sex.
All right.
We lift the curse of witchcraft from sex.
We lift the curse on his manhood.
We lift the curse of his manhood.
I, Leviathan and Python.
I, Leviathan and Python.
We bind to us. We bind to
Does
us.
holding up the cross to the camera do anything? In reality or in the logic of the game they're playing? In reality, of course not. In the logic of the game they're playing, it is supposed to, yes.
Us. Say it, we bind to us.
Bind to us.
Every sickness and disease.
Every sickness and disease.
From the sexual encounter.
Sexual encounter.
In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, I take a threefold cord from Ecclesiastes 4:12. I bind everything you've done to his body, everything you've done to his private parts, everything you've done to his skin, all the diseases that you put upon him from the witchcraft of his father and from the witchcraft of this woman. It's all bound to you. And I also take that same threefold cord and I bind.
His wife's in the corner, his actual wife, and he's like, no, 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 baby, I the chlamydia, the demon gave me chlamydia. I didn't do anything.
Your snakes to you. The snake that bit him, the snakes that crawl around inside of him. All the snakes of Python and Leviathan are bound to you now. Jezebel's bound.
After this, he needs some sexual healing. After this, he needs some penicillin.
Death and witchcraft, they're all bound. Say, I, Leviathan.
I, Leviathan.
Release this man.
Release this man.
To be healed by Christ.
Yeah, we'll do a bingo check after Bob.
By Christ.
With no more right with no more right.
With no more right.
All the curses broken.
All the curses broken.
Including every blood sacrifice.
Within every blood sacrifice.
Wouldn't 700 years ago be thousands of years ago?
I,
Oh, yeah.
Leviathan, declare.
I, Leviathan, declare.
We all. Receive the judgment of Christ.
Is he doing a suck in voice? It's pretty good.
Receive
Doing better than he was earlier.
the judgment of Christ.
Look at me, Leviathan. Say, we go.
We go.
To judgment.
To judgment.
Now.
Now.
To. The. Pit. Come out of him in the name of Jesus. Come out. Go. 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 Leave him now. Go. Come out now. Come out in the name of Jesus. Go. Go. Jano, push this evil out of you from the inside of you. Push it out. Go in the name of Jesus. All the spirits of sleep paralysis, a spiritual wife, all the sexual spirits, the spirits of pornography and lust and perversion, all of you go out. Come out.
I feel like that's half my personality. What would I even be without my demons? Not worth finding out.
Come out in the name of Jesus. Leave him now. Go, all of you. Leviathan, Python, witchcraft, all the sexual spirits. I speak healing to his body and his mind, healing to his skin. Whatever internal organs are affected, the healing of Christ flows through him right now. He is healed in the name of Jesus. Healed in the name of Jesus. All come out of it. Come out of him. All the sickness, all the disease. All of it come out of him now.
Are we supposed to think he's actually retching and vomiting right now?
Leave him in the name of Jesus. The healing of Christ, the deliverance of Jesus comes to this man now. Come out. Come out of him. Go. Go. This holy oil. I speak the peace of God, the presence of Christ, the comfort of the Holy Spirit be upon this man.
Harold Elverman says, in brief, I'm not a practitioner, but Bob is so wrong in how possession works in the faith universe. It's about as off as possible. Let's pretend I did invite a given spirit. Them showing up is, up to them, and I'm damn sure not driving, and that's not even mentioning payment. More than one at once is just hilariously impossible, even before we get to impractical. Like, what rule set are you pulling from? Is this, like, Catholic rules on demons? Is this some specific sect? Because I'd imagine it would be very different for different groups, because you're basically writing a story anyway.
Was an amazing example of the power of Jesus Christ.
700 generations at 25 years per generation is 17,500 years longer than young Earth creationists believe the Earth has existed. Oh, thanks for doing the math.
You could see the demons and hear them manifesting.
You could hear the demons manifesting. No one can do this on their own.
How tormented they were.
Do you guys remember when I used to talk like this? You guys remember when I used to talk like this? What was up with that? That was really stupid. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? It's funny and it also disgusts me.
how confrontational they were. This is a real exorcism. And you notice my approach is very methodical in a situation like this. And you see me looking back and forth. You know, I have my notes on one side, I have the person on the other side. I'm constantly
There is no Dana, only Zur.
analyzing what's going on, making my way through this, seeking the guidance of the Holy Spirit to figure out what's going on.
Basic voodoo principles. The Loa ride you, you're their horse. Did you have to phrase it that way? I'm glad you did. The Fedekakami says, I think what happens in cases like this, the subject is personifying their problems or sins as basically a shadow, and they're role-playing and expelling their shadow instead of doing what you're supposed to do, have a conversation and process and deal with your shadow. It's likely why people think this works. It is aping real therapy, but since you never get rid of your shadow, you learn to live with it, so that's why subjects feel the need to consistently get exorcisms. It's a way of them denying that. It's whatever thing they're shoving into that other category, the things that they're trying to repress and other within themselves. Yes, I think they're trying to, through a symbolic ritual, basically suppress it further. And it's inevitably going to come back, because it's not a material, real thing. It's just your thoughts that you're compartmentalizing and doing a thing to make you feel like you're getting rid of them. I think you're pretty spot on. Yeah.
Well, is this stuff real? Again, if you want to know, my book, Jezebel. But I want to read to you a small section at the back of this book. Advice in ministering to someone who has a spirit of incubus or succubus attacking them. I could talk for hours about this subject, but let me give you just a few quick
I imagine
points
you could, as long as you're getting paid.
I think that are extremely important. So if somebody comes to you, first of all, and talks about this, be very careful about shaming them.
That's the actual technical term in English? Oh, okay.
The individual is likely going to have a heavy dose of false guilt already, and further condemnation is not going to help dissipate that. Secondly, find out if this issue with the individual who claims a demonic sexual experience is generational. Maybe other family members have been victimized. Next.
Somehow, I'm okay with the demon fucking. The same demon fucking everyone in the same family. That's weird. Knock it off, demons. Stop that. Get some help.
To help the person, all sexual sin must be renounced and all ungodly relationships ended. Now, the demon may have been sexually transferred, and that link must be severed. This one-flesh relationship, in or out of marriage, is a direct means of demonic transmission.
Okay, enough of Bob. Let's look at the bingo card and mark it up. Okie dokie. Hannah regrets what she just said. Misunderstanding of the scientific method. Have we had Tartaria? I'm actually not sure. Chemtrails. Controlled opposition. Satanic. Hannah puts her head in her hands. This rock/tree was a human. Idiot says they're a genius. Sky is fake. My research said it by a non-researcher. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Conspiracy theorist shows up in chat. Recording in car. Flat Earth. Anything else? We got rid of the Cece's wife hates him on the bingo card. This is a recycled plot from TNG with Dr. Crusher and her family ghost boyfriend. That was season 7. We don't talk about season 7. What's Gematria? It's a specific kind of numerology. It's basically when someone says 1 equals A, 2 equals B, 3 equals C. There's actually a origin of this in Hebrew, but conspiracy theorists have adapted it to English to be much stupider. Fenekagami says, see, what you're supposed to do is talk to your shadow and accept it as part of yourself that society has taught you to be ashamed of. Then you learn to deal with those parts in a healthy way and become a better, more complete person as a result. Bonus, your shadow then becomes a persona and gives you stand powers to beat up monsters. Oh. Don't worry. All my coping mechanisms are very healthy and normal. DM tray with a link. Happy Confederate lost the war day. I've seen this.
Oh, way down south in the land of traitors,
rattlesnakes and alligators.
right away,
Right away, right away, right away. Union Dixie slaps, by the way. I unironically have Union Dixie on my Spotify playlist, and it's just really good. And, you know, every once in a while, it's good to just have a good laugh over the Civil War and how badly the South lost for being fucking awful. So. Oh, way down south in the land of traitors, rattlesnakes and alligators. Come away, come away, come away, come away. Where cotton's king and men are chattel, Union boys will win the battle. Come away, right away, right away, come away.
Welcome to the show, everyone. So we're going to talk about the solar eclipse and why I believe it is a sign of a very bad omen to come. Having said that, I want to first say this. I think I excel in interpreting signs more than anyone I ever met in my life. For whatever reason, other people are more interested in prophecies, dreams, rituals, whatever, healings. And that just seems to be my cup of tea. But for the first time in my life, I got to say, everyone and their grandmother is talking about this eclipse, which leads me to believe everyone is getting spiritually attuned to how serious this is.
Or every time there's an eclipse in the continental United States, everyone talks about it. Like, I'm old, like 2017 was the last one, but like, I'm not the only one that remembers when eclipses happen. Like, people are like, oh, have you heard about the eclipse? It's a cool thing.
So let's talk about it.
Have you run into this one yet? Let's see what it is.
I think I read about this in the Bible, the book of Revelations. I think it means it's the end of the world or something. Makes me want to dance.
That guy's a comedian. I recognize him. So he's doing a bit, for the record. Very funny, though.
Total eclipses are nothing new. Anyone that knows about orbital mechanics understands exactly what's going on. I'm not sure what the flat earth theory is on it, but the belief is that the moon will be between the sun and earth. Now, in occultism and even Christian theology, I would say.
I think he almost said Christian mythology, which is funny.
That is...
Like, I think that's objectively, like, that's usually what I call it, but, like...
The big...
He's not supposed to call it that.
deal. The sun is often representing of God. It is not God.
Leslie Jordan died in 2022. Aw, Sad.
Like your
Must have been for the last eclipse in 2017.
father is a representation of your spiritual
Back in aught 17,
father.
you wouldn't say aught. The 17's, it's got one in the 10's place. You wouldn't say aught. What are you doing? What are you doing?
There are a lot of times in dreams, but it can be a symbolism. The moon is a symbolism for the church. That's
the moon can be symbolic of many things. This is something that conspiracy theorists don't seem to get about symbols, and symbols are so important and interesting in human culture and the way that we use them. Like, symbols are a huge part of what allow us to function in day to day. It's a shorthand, a tool that we use to convey ideas between each other, and it's very cool. But what these people don't seem to get is that symbols are not concrete, right? Let's say you and the people around you consider the moon symbolic of the church, like you are saying. That doesn't mean every depiction of the moon created by anyone ever is that. It depends upon who is sending and receiving the message, right? The symbolism exists in your mind. It exists in sort of the cultural beliefs and standards. It doesn't exist physically. Symbols can mean many things, and generally do mean many things to different people. The moon means different things to different individual people symbolically, and between cultures it carries different meaning. You can't just act like it has a singular meaning. It's the fucking moon.
That's why the Islamic eclipsed moon is such a satanic symbol. They're saying
it's a crescent moon. Again, see what I mean? This is exactly what I'm talking about. He believes that there's a specific, concrete meaning to a symbol. Therefore, when other people are using a symbol that is either the same or similar, he interprets it through the lens that he has for that symbol without understanding that different groups have different understandings of what that symbol represents, has different connotations.
saying the church is eclipsed away or in a shadow, I would say. And then you had
he could literally look up the actual meaning.
The earth just viewing this all in perfect alignment. And as you can see in this X right here, this is the 2017
any two lines that cross each other are an X.
Totality, where the moon was directly between the earth and the sun in 2017. In 2024, this is the path it's getting ready to take tomorrow. Today is April 7th for me. So it makes an X, and the eerie thing is, this goes back to the Chuck Young brand prophecy that like 40, 50 years ago, that there may be eventually a earthquake along the New Madrid fault line.
There might be an earthquake along a fault line at some point in the future? Who could predict such a thing, ever?
That empties out this...
For those who don't know, that's how earthquakes tend to happen near fault lines. Because that's what an earthquake is. It's plate tectonics in action. It's a sudden shift of the plates slipping.
Great Lake right here into the Gulf of Mexico, and it essentially destroys Chicago. I think he said to the north there was like a few survivors, but pretty much Chicago was destroyed. I presume St. Louis and New Orleans and many people in between were killed. A lot of Canadian people have been having dreams 40, 50 years ago, according to Chuck Youngbrand.
A lot of people 40 or 50 years ago having dreams in Canada. Explain that, so-called skeptic. Canadians don't have dreams. They live in Canada.
Where they had similar dreams about the Great Lake being emptied out and doing some horrible tsunami-like things on the lake. So
where would all the water go? Do you know how big the Great Lakes are?
Anyway, this may
It's literally impossible. I don't think he understands how big the Great Lakes are.
Be the mark of destruction.
I was actually watching something the other day. It was hilarious. I was watching the Ray Bradbury Theater, which was an anthology show that adapted Ray Bradbury stories. Fun anthology if you like anthologies and like Ray Bradbury. There was an episode that took place, he wrote the story based on him being by Lake Michigan as a kid, and it cut to the story, and the kids are at this lake, and it's supposed to be Lake Michigan, and they're sitting on the beach, and you can literally see the other shore. And I was like, that's not Lake Michigan. I feel like people who haven't seen the Great Lakes don't know how big they are. They think lake in their head, and they go like, oh, like a big lake, like the shore's way over there, right? Like, no, you can't see the other shore. It's like a freshwater ocean, basically. No. If you're trying to make something look like one of the Great Lakes, don't show the other shore. Don't do that.
Now, why am I concerned about it? Well, if you've read your Bible, and I highly recommend everyone read their Bible, God does care about nations. There's these cucks that want...
Oh, did he just say, A, did he just say God is a nationalist, and B, did he just call people cucks? Incredible. Fenekagami says, to prove your point about symbols, the sun usually is seen as good. In the song Army of Tigers, the sun is portrayed as a cancerous evil that must be destroyed. To quote a line, she blinds our children, burns our skin, dries our crops, and rivers thin. There's also other examples. The Twilight Zone had an episode, The Midnight Sun, in which the sun is a symbol of destruction and doom. Symbols can be used and recontextualized in any myriad numbers of ways that you can imagine. There is no concrete symbolism. It doesn't exist. It's always relative to the people who create the symbolism and what they intend. I have to pee. I'll be right back. You can see the other coast for much of Lake Erie, but then it's at best a mediocre lake. It's nepotism, I tell ya. It's nepotism that allowed in to the Great Lakes.
Want to let the devil-worshipping Cabal do whatever they want. They don't want a white ethno state. They don't want a Christian. They don't even want a Christian state. They
Oh, he's this far gone. That's bad.
just want to be essentially a doormat to the New World Order. Well, that's...
So this guy's like... racist. Okay. Alright. Well, buckle in.
not the God I read about in the Bible. The God I read about in the Bible very much wanted his own ethno-state and country and theocracy.
Fucking yikerinos.
That's
not
what
even
the
a dog
nation of
whistle. This is just, he's just saying it. He's just saying it.
Israel was. But the nation of Israel disobeyed their covenant with God.
Are we gonna... feel like we're gonna get some... feel like we're gonna get another bingo space here in a second.
So the way the ritual to make a covenant worked was you would sacrifice, I think it was a lamb, and you would cut it in half. And then you would basically tell God, if I violate this covenant, may you do this to me. So lo and behold, God did divide Israel into the northern kingdoms, which was the 10 tribes of Israel. And then it was the southern kingdom, which was Judah and the Levites. So what you read about who survives into the times of Jesus, it was the Judean people of Judah.
Oh yeah, he's doing it. He's doing the thing.
Levites, and those were pretty much the only two tribes that didn't get expelled before the Romans expelled them. So, having said that, this looks eerily similar. This X, this double cross through America, and I want to talk about the timing on
I'm sorry,
it.
did you just say double cross? It's an X at best, if you even want to say that. But it's not happening at the same time. They're literally 7 years apart. So you're arbitrarily deciding these two events are connected when they're not, other than they're both the same celestial event in slightly different locations.
Some people said it was 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days. I don't think so, and we'll confirm that now.
Lennon Cat says, for the record, Arab cultures use the waxing crescent at the start of a new month since they use a lunar calendar. It has no connection to Islam directly, and its association began solely by its adoption by the Ottoman Empire from the Byzantine architectural designs. In fact, iconography is explicitly forbidden in Islam. Yeah, that's why if you look at a mosque, there aren't, like, depictions of stories or something like you might see in, like, a Catholic church, where there might be like stained glass windows or tableaus of biblical stories. It's actually very interesting. Mosques have a geometric architecture for that reason, because it's considered a sin to try and create depictions of living things. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Pretty cool. Interesting.
So they're saying the last one was in August 21st, 2017. And obviously, it's April 8th, 2024.
Oh, yeah, that 2045
so according
one.
to this calculator where we convert...
Someone else pointed this out, but the 2045 eclipse goes both through Disneyland and Disney World, I think? If you're a Disney adult and you're looking to buy tickets, buy them now, because I guarantee tickets to Disneyland and Disney World on the day of the eclipse are going to be fucking bonkers. So plan ahead if you're rich and want to see this shit at a Disney park for some reason.
Units, it's 6 years, 7 months, 18 days. So that's not exactly 6 years.
Imagining you're planning to be there during the eclipse and then you mistime it and you're in the It's a Small World building during it and you miss it. Fenekagami says, because graven images are supposed to be a sin, so seriously, it's literally in the Ten Commandments. Yeah, I don't think Christians view it that way. To them, they think it's like, they take that verse to mean literal idols meant for worship, sort of as an addendum to idolatry.
6 months, 6 days.
Now, I don't think that's necessarily the intent, but that is nonetheless how they have interpreted it.
But it is kind of close. Very interesting. But that doesn't take away from the fact I believe the Chuck Youngbrandt prophecies are highly suspected to be in play, that they're centralized.
This horn came undone a little bit, so it dips back sometimes. I gotta fix this. My poor horn.
On the center of the nation, right around the New Madrid fault line.
You'll be 101 years old in 2078. No, on the bright side, you might be dead.
Now, I want to say this.
That was a joke, I'm sorry.
That
joke would have been okay if I made it about myself, but that's not self-deprecation. That was
is
just
probably
rude.
God's mark of destruction. X is a big occult symbol. It goes back to the Osiris X thing. According to the book of Enoch, God killed some of the fallen angels and put them in hell. Some of them he bound, and some of them were kind of walking the earth. I suspect the Isis, the female bride to Osiris, I suspect she was living and actually runs the Cabal. And that's why the Catholic
Cabal on the bingo cards
pray to Mary. They're not praying to Mary, they're praying to... Nowhere in the Bible does it say pray to Mary. Nowhere. They're actually praying to Isis, and it's getting painfully obvious that the Catholicism is actually devil worship.
Oh wow, what a hot take! A Protestant who thinks Catholicism is satanic. That's a very original thought you had. No one else has had that thought before. You're nailing it.
The priest of Dagon hats are very obvious. The reptilian hall.
Reptilians on the bingo card.
Where there's like a big snake statue where the Pope issues
slippery little snake.
His decrees and public statements. I don't know how much more obvious this has to get. But anyway, back to the point. So the Osiris X, Elon Musk naming his company Twitter X, this is a huge Osiris worship where they're trying to resurrect their dead god through their occult magic, making his PP statues idolatry, your obelisk, however you pronounce that.
He thinks that obelisks are cocks? Alright.
And a lot of people are talking about CERN, how CERN truly is going to activate up their Hadron Collider. It's called a Hadron, and they were looking for
Hadron?
Higgs bosons. There's so many
They found the Higgs boson. That was years ago.
occultists that are making videos and they don't know the least little thing about physics or even how to pronounce this stuff. But this goes back to the dream I had where I saw a portal appearing in the sky and I didn't see what came out of it. I had the impression it was going to be alien.
Stone Corbell says, just openly says he wants a white ethno state, but too embarrassed to say the word penis, right?
But then these angels, and I think I was in heaven because it was really bright out. They kept telling me, you're getting ready to see a demon with flesh. You're getting ready to see a demon with flesh. So you probably heard other people talk about this, and I had this dream a long time ago. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but now more and more people are talking about it, and the people that thought I was crazy are too stupid to remember why they thought I was crazy. They just called me crazy, but it's fine. My ego, I'm starting to slowly kill it and not care about it, because the stupid people, who cares what stupid people think? Anyway,
Lennon Cat says that's actually correct. The obelisk thing, Osiris was resurrected after Isis dug out all his body parts from the river, but she could not find his penis. Why is so much human culture about dick?
so we also had that.
Like, on some level, I'm like, okay, pretty good. But on the other part, it's like, this much? This much?
NASA, I think they're wanting to launch a rocket at the moon. Now, that's very interesting, because one of them...
I'm gonna be so embarrassed when the aliens show up, and they're gonna be like, hey, did you guys realize, like, half of your culture is cocks? And then we're gonna have to be like, yeah, sorry.
My theory, it's other people's...
We're gonna be the really weird pervert planet everyone stays away from.
Theories that the moon, the backside of the moon, may actually be a listening station for alien watchers. Could be demonic fallen angel entities. I don't know. The Bible said, according in my last video I covered this, you may unknowingly entertain an angel. Perhaps they're here living vicariously. Perhaps they just manifest in the moment. I don't know. If anyone else knows, I'd love to hear that story, because I find it very entertaining. But that is in the Bible, that there's people that you think are people, but they're really not. They're actually maybe fallen angels, maybe real angels. I don't know. I really don't know, but I suspect these things. So anyway, the X is a mark of destruction. Probably.
But what if X marks the spot? What if there's just a big treasure that God buried under the X?
On the United States. I think this is going to signify a new era where God no longer tells the Cabal, the fallen angels that have authority over the world, you can't touch America. They in effect have grown sin to the point to where
X gonna give
we
it to
no
you.
longer have authority. God divorced, and this goes back to some dreams I had and Vicky Goforth Parnell, my mother, some of her friends. A lot of these people...
The One Piece, I heard that's real.
People had simultaneous dreams that God was getting ready to divorce America. And I was interpreting these dreams for people and telling them it has nothing to do with your parents, has nothing to do with your marriage. This is God. It was all the same kind of dreams. The man was wanting to divorce the woman, and I had it. Actually, I didn't see God divorce the woman. God ran It's actually my dad ran my mom off.
They reveal what the One Piece actually is at some point. I don't know. I've never seen One Piece.
Off. I was
I don't do anime.
talking to my mom like, I think you need to go talk to him and apologize. But then other people had dreams.
Except for Pokemon and Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and One Punch Man and fighting Foodons.
Similar dreams later that basically
Ultimate Muscle was pretty good.
said
Sonic X
that
was pretty good.
Yes, the man was going
Avatar is inspired by anime, but it's not really an anime.
to divorce the woman. Now there's no divorce court. There's no bullcrap synagogue of Satan stuff where they
Thinly veiled anti-Semitism on the bingo card. We got there. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack's good, but again, that's probably more inspired, but whatever. Finnikagami says, that was literally a Rick and Morty bit. Humans are so obsessed with our dicks that we literally would stop intergalactic peace from happening if it meant giving up your penis. I remember that episode.
Steal the man's money, give the
Kirby right back at ya. That was another good one. That's an anime.
house and the kids to
How was Avatar not an anime? Because it was made by Americans. Because it was made in America. It's American.
the woman. No. The way this
In fairness, some of the animation might have got outsourced to, like, South Korea. That's a big thing. But even that's not anime.
works in God's world is when the woman is unfaithful to the man and the man divorces her, she is without protection. She is...
Hannah, I don't watch anime, lists off a list of anime she watched. Average anime fan.
Maybe she gets to have her illegitimate bastards with her.
I'm not a weeb. I'll say it that way. I'm not a weeb. I've seen animes, and I like to make fun of it, but I'm not a weeb.
But, she's not going to have any prosperity.
Thought anime was about the art style. Taxonomy's arbitrary, I don't know.
She's not going to get to enslave the man. You don't...
As I read in a thing recently, taxonomy's but a social construct. It may have been from a smut, but it's nonetheless true.
You don't submit to the man's authority, you don't get the man's protection, you don't get the man's resources. That's...
But have you seen football?
The era. This is the magnitude of this sign, folks. That's the era that we are in. God is not going to tell the Cabal they can't civil war us, disease X us, nuclear holocaust us, China and Russia invade us. And this is nothing new. These are dreams several people have been having. These are the signs.
Technically, Rankin Bass is anime. The Rankin Bass Christmas specials were animated in Japan. Does that count?
This is actually a civil war sign dividing the country, putting a mark on it. And then the earthquake will be another sign of civil war. So that earthquake could happen any week. I actually don't think April 8th is going to be... It may be something huge. It's entirely up to the Cabal. But
nothing happened other than the eclipse, which was very cool, and I saw it, and it was great. Nothing bad happened.
But I wouldn't be surprised if absolutely nothing happens there. But for the next coming weeks and months and years...
Finnikagami says, just so you know, tons of anime fans consider Avatar anime because most consider anime a style. Japan considers all animation anime. Also, no, we still don't know what the One Piece is. That's a shame. The One Piece was the friends we made along the way. If that's the ending, how mad are people going to be? The One Piece was the adventure we all shared together.
Going to be worse than America has ever experienced. It's already really horrible, but God's had enough, and the Cabal wants to destroy America, the prostitute of Babylon, to usher...
Inspector Gadget was animated in Japan. That's now anime. I accept that. That's the best anime.
And Brig.
I'm gonna get isekai'd into Inspector Gadget world.
and do more.
It's a physical object, the writer said so. Maybe it's a physical object that you open it and it's a book that says the One Piece was the friends we made along the way. No, I actually read that. The writer did say, like, no, it's not going to be something stupid like the power of friendship. It's not going to be that. I did read that.
World consolidation of power. That is my belief. Having said all that I figured out on my own and listened to other dreams over the last couple of years. Bill Schnoebelen, the former Illuminati occultist.
Oh, this is just going to be full on, probably.
He was a Freemason. I think he even got into shamanism, drugs. He claimed to be a vampire. That's one of the Illuminati occult things. Some of your fallen angels actually are acting like they're space aliens, but in reality, they did something that's very much like vampirism. Another thing they could have done was werewolf.
Vampires on the bingo card? Do we still have vampires? There it is.
Wolfism. Lycanism is it actually
lycanthropy. Lycanthropy.
The correct term. But anyway, he's now a Christian evangelist. I don't like the skull cap. I think he got fooled on that. But he's getting to be an old timer. Maybe he's kind of losing his mind. He brought up a point that I totally missed. Now,
I'm going to say overt anti-Semitism for that one.
When you study Satanism, you may hear about Antoine LaVey. He's kind of a nobody. He's kind of a showman. The guy to take very, very serious, who's dead now, was Alister Crowley, however you want to pronounce his name.
Penikagami says, literally that's what Luffy, the main character, considers the One Piece to be, the adventure. Also, to quote a based king from the series, queens never die. Queers never die.
Guy was as evil gets. He may have actually summoned the gray aliens. He's the first person to record that account. Actually draw the picture and called it Lom, something like that. And he's going to talk about how Alister Crowley made a satanic holiday on April 8th, and this solar event is happening on April 8th.
1 second.
Of everything I told you. Everything I told you is just going to get multiplied by like times 10, times 100. So let's listen to what Mr. Schnoebelen has to say about it.
But the important thing is, because of this, later on in his life, Crowley died in 1947, but he declared those 3 days to be sacred holy days for the Thelema cult. And they're called the equinox of the gods, these 3 days. And notice that the first day of this satanic feast is when the solar eclipse is. So this kind of creates a double whammy.
So those 3 holidays that Alister Crowley made up, the first one is April 8th.
Aliens
and
are
directly
demons.
on this eclipse day. Is also the X may actually be an Aleph, and there was some other eclipses. It looked like it made a Tav. So it's like an Alpha and Omega. I actually did study some ancient Hebrew.
Yeah, he's talking about like the Hebrew alphabet.
From a guy named Jeff Benner on YouTube. Great materials.
I find it, those are the anti-Semites that interest me are the ones that get so anti-Semitic that they start studying like Judaism. I'm so anti-Semitic. I'm gonna learn these symbols. Like, I'm sure they're mislearning them. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure their understanding is like fucked up and disgusting. Well, that's kind of an interesting spin on the racism or bigotry in general. Is like, I'm gonna learn more about you so I can be more specific about why I hate you. Human beings, we are truly fucked. Truly fucked.
The British royal family, who own over 16% of the entire planet, seems to be falling apart, which is nothing to mourn. for they are one of the most monstrous families on Earth.
Accidentally based on the bingo card.
In 1964, the Queen and Prince Philip visited a school in British Columbia. Former resident William Coombs claims...
Oh, this sucks. I'm gonna skip over this guy talking because this guy's actually mentally ill and it makes me very sad.
Company of
We
brewers,
actually might have watched this last week.
which was frequented by Jimmy Savile.
We did. We watched this one last week. I apologize.
You know, I really don't have the personality type or the patience to try to explain reality to people who don't have a clue, but I feel compelled to do it because there are so many people who live like mushrooms. You stay in the dark and you let people throw manure.
Yeah, I think when they said, I think they were just counting all Commonwealth land when they said 16%. I think they were literally counting like the entirety of the UK, the entirety of Australia, the entirety of Canada. I think that's how they got that number.
Or on top of you. You believe the lies. Do you not understand that pretty much everything we've learned has all been a lie? We're not on a spinning ball going 1,000 miles an hour or however fast they say we're going. We're absolutely not. We're not on a ball at all. In fact, we're on more like a snow globe. So it's a flat plane with a globe on top because there is a ceiling. It's called the firmament. And a lot of you who don't read the Bible don't know that. But if you just watch the rocket launches and how they hit something once they get a certain height.
They don't hit something, they curve because it's easier to leave Earth that direction. It takes much more energy to go straight up than it does to go up at an angle. If you've ever played Kerbal Space Program, you'll understand the dynamics of this.
That's the firmament. If that thing were to crack wide open, we'd be drowned with water. We'd be flooded.
She thinks that the sky is blue because water is blue. So there's a firmament, as described in Genesis, and then similar to the Noah story, she believes that it will break and things will come down. Even though in the Noah story it also says springs under the earth. I don't think she mentioned that.
Just like in the days of Noah.
Is that why you kept failing in Kerbal? Yes.
Ark.
Yeah, you can't play Kerbal Space Program and try and just go up. You got to go up, and then you got to start to curve to get your velocity different than the Earth, so you can go into orbit, and from orbit, then you can start to maneuver to other places.
That's what God did. He opened up the skies and
if you're going to play Kerbal Space Program, which is a fun game, I would recommend you take finally a 10-15 minute like beginner's guide. It'll save you so much guesswork. Just at least give you a basic understanding of like maneuvering and how it works.
The Earth. NASA is a joke. It's a fraud. Do you know in the Hebrew language, NASA means to deceive? I bet you didn't know that. You know why? Because a lot of people are too lazy.
It doesn't, by the way. She's talking about a phrase that's, I believe, Nashaw, something along that line. It sounds vaguely like NASA if you slur it, but it's not. It's just anti-Semitism.
Do their own research. You listen to the fake stream media. You listen to the scientists. It's all a crock. Hollywood is in on it. A lot of the churches are in on it. The Catholic Church is so corrupt, it makes me sick to my stomach because I grew up Catholic, and up until about 7 years ago when my mom passed away, I was hardcore. I would defend the church all day long. Not anymore, because now I see what's going on. The Pope's shoes are red. Do you know what that means? Again.
I do find it funny that apparently all of the child sex scandals, like the molestation scandals, didn't worry her. But then she got into conspiracy theories and was like, oh my god, the Pope's shoes are red, and that's what got her? Priorities pretty out of whack, huh? Fennikagami says, not to mention it would look curved anyway because we'd be spinning under the rocket after the launch.
People probably don't know, just like the Hollywood celebrities who wear the red bottom shoes. Check it out. Unfortunately, I don't have
Red shoes are a conspiracy trope. They think that red shoes are a signal that you're a part of the Cabal.
Time. Well, that's not true. I'm retired. I have plenty of time. Again, I don't have the patience. I just don't have the patience to try to peel the onion back for all of you who have been sleeping. Wake up. The past 4 years, at least, y'all should have been opening your eyes to what's really going on. But no, people still...
Those bangs are combat ready. Gitara says, I joined the stream pretty late, but were there any people who thought that the Eclipse was some sort of leftist cabal psyop? Yes. Yes, there were.
Walk around with blinders on, and it just trips me out. I don't get it. The signs are right there in front of your face. They show us things in the movies.
I'm no one to talk about the bangs thing, by the way. I completely accept any friendly fire that I get from that one.
The music industry is corrupt. Do you know
you gotta shoot your shot sometimes, though.
Cast spells over their music, and then you go buy that music and you listen to it, and that's going into your brain? The devil knows what he's doing. You know, he's not too smart because he cannot create things on his own, but he can copy things. So because of Adam and Eve in the garden, who were stupid and listened to him, he just repeats himself with lie after lie after lie, and people still fall for it. A lot of these people walking around on this earth today have sold their souls to the devil, and it's scary because God's not having it anymore, and he's about to do something that's going to change things and shake things up. And if you don't repent...
With the amount of times that religious people have said God's about to do something, I'm starting to think God has the same procrastination problem I have. And that's not good. That's not good. Someone like me shouldn't be in charge. That's a huge problem.
And you don't fix what's going...
Oh, it skipped to the next one accidentally. Or maybe that was just the end.
Did y'all know that what they are spraying on our produce in the grocery store is not water? I thought it was just up until
oh god,
a couple of months ago, so I want to share with anybody who didn't know because I think it's important that we all understand what's in and on our food. It is something called Produce Max, and it is just straight chemicals. Here's the breakdown.
Chemicals! Chemical fear-mongering on the bingo card.
Hydrochloric acid is less than 1%. Other ingredients, 99%. Here it says contains 6,000 parts per million of free available chlorine. Just a simple Google search, you will find that the safe levels of chlorine is 4 parts per million.
Ma'am, wash your fruit before you eat it. Do you know you're supposed to wash your fucking fruit? Like, does she think you're just supposed to fucking raw dog it? It's probably fine, but like, you are supposed to generally wash them off first. Are you not washing your goddamn produce? Rinse them. Rinse those motherfuckers. What are you doing?
Those of you who say, Ashley, it's only a little bit. It's only...
Gitara says, excuse you, ma'am, but my soul belongs to the main man, Paul, and on loan to the soul of Scorpzilla from time to time when I do dark magic.
A little bit on our produce. It's only a little bit in our crackers. It's only a little bit in our meat. When does a little bit add up to a lot? Y'all, we in this country are so unhealthy. We have so many mental health diseases. We have all of these skin issues. Everybody is overweight. Everybody's literally losing their minds. And I think
the only one I've noticed a bunch of is the losing their mind part. I don't think it's the fruit. I don't think it's the fruit. Oh.
Well, Disney has done it again. I don't even know how to explain this. But you know what? I want you guys to watch this and watch it till the end. And then I want you guys to tell me what you think, what Disney's trying to do, and what this cartoon is all about. Well, I'm waiting. Let me know what you guys think.
There was a glowing city protected by golden gates, known as heaven. It was ruled by beings of pure light, angels that worshipped good and shielded all from evil.
Is this Has-Been Hotel? Does he think Has-Been Hotel is a show for little children? This is not a show for children.
Lucifer.
Disney didn't make it either. What? Cartoon, so Disney. Must be Disney, 'cause cartoon.
was one of these angels.
I don't know if it's owned by Fox or something, which is owned by Disney, but it's not Disney. It is not under the Disney brand. It is not made by them, though they own half of the media industry, so I don't know if it's under one of their other companies. But it's not Disney.
He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all
It's on
of
Amazon Prime. Oh, that's not even close to Disney. Those are direct competitors to Disney.
creation. But he was seen as a troublemaker by the elders of heaven, for they felt his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their...
Jesus Christ.
Alright guys, I believe self-disclosure is done with. I believe we're about to be...
Did Trump put out a makeup brand? Holy shit. That was mean, sorry.
All of us who said no to the vaccine in the past 4 years, let me tell you something. We are among the toughest people in the world. I don't care what you say. But for years we had to endure ridicule, scorn.
You're still enduring ridicule for being a anti-vaxxer. Benigami says again, I have the time, but I don't have the patience to save you people who are asleep. Literally, I could save you, but won't because you annoy me. It's about superiority again. Yeah. Trump released his own Bible. Trump got paid to shill a Bible. I don't know if he got paid probably for that appearance, and maybe he's getting a % off each one. He didn't do it.
We were called conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers. We were called deplorables.
You suck. You're terrible, terrible people, and you've demonstrated that time and time again since you've been called that. You're shit. Please stop.
Segregated from the rest of society. For a season, we couldn't go into restaurants,
I couldn't go into Applebee's and have them microwave frozen food for me. Shut the fuck up. There are so many conspiracy theorists. I have sympathy for most conspiracy theorists. Anti-vaxxers, especially smug anti-vaxxers that think they're the smartest people on the fucking planet, frustrate me to no goddamn end. They're the worst. They're the worst. I hate it. They're such little victimized shits. Oh, we couldn't go into restaurants and get a haircut.
Okay, things are getting weird. The city of Austin is asking for more blood donations ahead of April 8th solar eclipse. Do they know something that we don't know?
Again, this has been explained many times. There are a bunch of people driving. Like I said, went to Ohio. On the drive, there were plenty of people pulled over off the side of the road because they were in accidents. When there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people around, there are going to be more accidents. So you prepare for that. It's a secondary effect of the eclipse. It's not the eclipse itself. It's that people are reacting to the eclipse and their behaviors changes your precautions. I gotta pee. Sorry, I've had to urinate a lot today. Be back in a sec. Benigami says, we're the most resilient people on the planet. Now let me complain about the time I was made fun of for 8 years ago like a whiny entitled snowflake. Nerdy says, I had a friend tell me that I was hospitalized with clots in my lungs because of the vaccine. Nope, turns out I have an autoimmune condition that causes clots and doesn't mix well with HRT, which is just what I wanted to hear. Oh, that sucks ass. I am so fucking sorry. That's a bummer. Fuck that person.
Drawing in all sorts of money.
This is just the meanest opening to any Hans video ever. If you're not familiar, this is Jane Goodall, the famous primatologist.
So I guess this old hag just turned 90, and
goddamn.
And there was all sorts of celebration about it. I guess they're like going on a world tour and celebrating their 90th birthday all over the place, drawing in all sorts of money. And this one's very similar to Neil deGrasse Tyson in that they're a religious leader, really, if you think about it. And later, it's admit that this person is an icon. And these people, they serve as idols today. They are idols, and they are not to be worshipped. And if you know the truth about this place, it's really easy to not worship these clowns, deceivers. But if you're under their spell, these are certainly people that are idolized. And God said to have no idols. Do not ever idolize some human, and because who knows what they're really like. And thank God for opening some of our eyes to the types of deceptions these switch skeletons on the world stage are constantly up to. And this one's a part of the ape hoax. And so let's get into it. I mean, you can tell that this is an old man, first of all.
Transphobia, transvestigation on the bingo card.
That is a male skeleton. And the
I want him to investigate my skeleton so bad. I feel like it would accidentally be so affirming.
long robes, going to the idea of some sort of religious authority figure. The Bible's full of criticisms of people who walk around in long robes. But you can see...
Don't zoom in on the crotch.
The male hips here.
Okay, it's the hips.
When you're traveling 300 days out of the year for work, a birthday is just another day, even when it's your 90th. For Dr. Jane Goodall, today's milestone birthday is another opportunity to spread her call to action. It just comes with a celebratory glass of whiskey and vegan pizza. And the 90, why such a big deal about the 90?
Because it's her birthday and she's 90. This is such a weird... It's like he's doing the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, but with her birthday? Or something? Like, yes, if you live long enough, eventually you will have a 90th birthday. That's just how numbers work.
They are obsessed with Gematria and stuff, and it's just a way to make a quick buck. You know,
Gematria on the bingo card?
Much ado about nothing. But something about the number 9, I think of the Beatles 9 thing, is 9.
That wasn't the Beatles, that was, Yoko.
Gematria X.
And wasn't it number 8? Number 8? Number 8? No, wait, is that the Simpsons bit? I might be remembering the Simpsons bit instead of the normal one.
But 3, 6, and 9 happen a lot, and I think the number 9 in particular has some sort of connection with Satan. Leave it in the comments if you know. And Tanzanite is just an interesting connection.
It was The Simpsons. I often confuse real life with the B-Sharps episode of The Simpsons. I apologize.
I guess this Goodall character always is wearing a necklace that not right there. We'll see it later. A necklace with a black stone.
Stone Corbell says, yes, Hans, they are obsessed with Gematria. That's them, not you and your ilk who freak out about every single number you see in anything.
In the shape of Africa,
yeah,
and it has this rare gemstone Tanzanite in it that I guess is only found in this region. But this was an interesting looking into Tanzanite.
Just randomly in my head, I'll get, there was nothing in Al Capone's vault, but it wasn't Geraldo's fault.
How it's like formed in the hinge of these geological
By the way, fuck Geraldo!
Folds.
Helped spread satanic panic, asshole.
Some of these crystals, it just makes me think of, they were born out of cataclysm out of when the earth was like molten from like biblical. You know, the Bible talks about Jesus coming down and hills turning into wax and Sodom and Gomorrah type events. Or maybe how some of these crystals are formed. I don't know. Goodall, who rose to fame as the world...
You guys seen Uncut Gems? Watch Uncut Gems. Unless you're really, really averse to anxiety, then maybe don't. You might have a panic attack. But if you want to see an anxiety-filled film that just ramps up anxiety constantly, I would recommend Uncut Gems. It is in the Criterion collection. Please watch it.
The world's foremost primatologist has become a beacon of environmental activism. I'm just going to skim through some of these. Something about Mercury here. Stuff, does it say here? This was talking about Mercury. Brazil. Oh, yeah. Mercury and gold mining. Stuff like this. Is it part of the article because they want to hit those keywords talking about Mercury? And I think a lot of times they are.
Oh, yeah. Hans is a big climate change denier. Most flat earthers are.
Just bringing stuff up because it's concepts that they like to talk about, alchemical concepts or astrological concepts. It just felt like this Mercury thing was brought up on purpose. Goodall has a partnership with an allegedly ethically sourced jewelry brand. A lot of these times, these clowns are just there to sell something, and they're just actors. They're acting a part. And some of them, this is like a Bill Nye situation. Neil deGrasse Tyson, totally in the same thing as Bill Nye, totally in the same thing as Jane Goodall, where they're actually an actor playing the part.
They're science communicators, as well as, at least when they started, scientists. Like, they have the training. Jane Goodall is absolutely a primatologist. She's the primatologist. And Neil deGrasse Tyson is an astronomer. He has a degree, as a doctorate in astronomy, to my knowledge, so he absolutely has that knowledge. It's just that he has also been a science communicator for many years, and now that's probably his primary job. Now, personally, he seems like kind of a dick, but, like, he's a science communicator. It's fine. It's good.
Of an environmentalist, and they just push it. They know. I mean... I want to be this.
Tim Othy says, I had a dream about Hannah showing off her Criterion collection, but the DVDs were in CD cases. I wasn't impressed by the cover art. I'll have you know, all of my Criterions are Blu-rays or 4K, and they are in the original cases. They're beautiful.
Environmental
Hannah mentions Blu-ray on the bingo card.
TV sensation. That's the goal. They're not really like a scientist. They're in it to...
No, Bill Nye's an engineer. He has an engineering degree, and he was an actor.
To be the figurehead of... To be on TV. They know. They know that that's their end goal, is to be on the TV and to be used as an idol, is what they get used as. Totally different than... Like, Bill Nye, you should just understand the difference between people like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson are very, very different than, like, if you actually go to school to become an astrophysicist. You don't end up being a Bill Nye or whatever. You end
well,
up
obviously! No shit, you don't get a TV show!
Working at some university and doing research papers and having students underneath you. You go into academia. You don't go...
Does he think that most people think they go and become a scientist and get a show like Bill Nye? Because no one thinks that.
On the TV. Anyways, not for sale, however, is the periwinkle-colored tanzanite pendant Goodall is wearing, gifted to her by Brilliant Earth. Man, getting some sweet throwbacks for getting involved. So, and yeah, it seems really clear to me Jane Goodall's just trying to get money. It's a money man.
Yeah, I mean, she's trying to get money for conservation efforts. Like, I don't know her personally. I don't know what she's like IRL. But, like, she's doing this for conservation efforts. That's her whole life, has been working towards conservationist, like, efforts. That's her whole ass career.
Making operations.
So you're fucking right that they're trying to get money for her organization.
In these days. Got a turtleneck. Gotta hide the neck in your turtleneck. A black pendant in the shape of Africa with a small tanzanite stone over Tanzania. where she first began studying
I didn't hear
chimpanzees
you at all,
in
Baja,
1960.
actually.
Chimpanzees are a hoax. They are fursuits. That's a male skeleton, or skull in particular. And just to mention some features like the brow bone and the sloping forehead and the large square jaw and the low angled back ears are all masculine features. And the hands.
Oh shit, Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs.
Large.
Generous, thank you.
Exposed knuckles that go straight across. It's very masculine. I did this because it's Getty Images. Getty Images is involved in some shady stuff. And that was like kind of a joke back in the Transvestigation era. That so many of the most busted looking images come out of Getty Images. Like
this was actually interesting. Listen to this.
Documenting.
I heard this part. I watched this video already.
The deception, what these guys are up to. That's some weird looking Q angle on the...
So he and the other people in the Transvestigation community, for those who don't know, that is the conspiratorial act of looking at people and trying to, based on how they look, claim that they are trans, using arbitrary measures that they believe determine someone's sex. They're going to Getty Images and saying, like, oh, they have so many weird images. Here's my hypothesis on this. So culturally, we enforce gendered stereotypes about what is masculine or feminine and attractive or unattractive in the masculine or the feminine. So if you are a publication, any publication, or you are someone looking for a photo of a celebrity and you're trying to make them look good or something, you're probably going to pick photos that are from the correct angles and look right, that conform to that societal identity of masculinity or femininity, attractiveness. Now, no one, even incredibly attractive people who are sort of the epitome of what we would consider masculine or feminine, they don't look the ideal of these things all the time in every photo, you know what I mean? So I think what's happening is, generally, in pop culture, Hans and people like him see photos of celebrities, let's go with women in this case, because they're generally transvestigating from that angle. They see photos of women that aren't the ones that maybe get published, because if you ever seen Getty Images, like, people put up their pictures on there, all of them, because they don't know who's going to buy what. So, like, there are a lot of photos that aren't the AAA grade S tier photos that look great and have that ideal image. So you see the throwaway photos that are maybe from a weird angle or the lighting's off. Because this doesn't conform to our idealized societal expectation of femininity, because the photo just doesn't look right and it's not what they're used to, they use this as evidence that they're not actually women because they're not up to the unreasonable standards set by society and the selective cultural images we see and are shown of traditionally attractive people. So it's almost a self-reinforcing cultural bias where they're literally looking at women, cis women, and saying, this doesn't live up to the unreasonable expectation that we've collectively set, therefore it's a man. It's kind of incredible.
Guy on the right. The body, look at it. That's a body like a Coke bottle on the right. And then Jane Goodall. The vast photo archive is hidden inside a cold, heavily guarded limestone mine. Over 11 million Getty images are on ice near Pittsburgh. Oh, this was something interesting too. May 11th. So 3/11, March 11th, is like a really obvious. They do a lot of things on March 11th, and a lot of
the day before my birthday.
Of interesting articles tend to be posted on these dates like that because 3/11. I mean, there's a band called 311 for a reason, because 3 times 11 is 33. But you know how the months are all messed up. Like October should be the 8th month, but it's really the 10th month. So another date that you see a lot is May 11th. Because if you do the math, May should actually be the 3rd month if October is the 8th month and September is the 7th month. Then May is actually the 3rd month of the year. So you see May 11th a lot of times too. And back to Jane Goodall, and what fuels Jane Goodall's sense of hope? The planet itself. So there's a lot of planet programming going on here. Save the planet. It's always been a big part of the world stage, is reinforcing that planet idea, because that's kind of the center of their deception. Talking about Gaia, Mother Nature worship here, saying she,
Gaia,
he, her, about the Earth. The Earth is a creation. It's something God created. I don't believe in animism, that objects have spirits. That's like pagan stuff, I believe.
Sure, but like people call their boat her too. That's humans generally have a thing for anthropomorphizing things. It's common.
The indomitable human spirit, the people who tackle the impossible. I think words like this, when they talk about stuff like this, it's like chimpanzees should be impossible. They're not. It's not a real creature. So when they say like bringing magic to life or making the impossible possible, I think it's references to stuff like that, like how they do things that shouldn't even really be possible, but they're just tricksters. And so obviously it is possible, but what they're doing is they're making things true in people's minds.
311, the band's name, comes from the police code for indecent exposure in Omaha after one of their band members was arrested. Well, that's something.
Only when there's actually something.
Why doesn't he think apes are real? Because if apes are real, then evolution is real. And if evolution is real, then creationism isn't true. And if creationism isn't true, kind of a lot of his foundational beliefs fall apart. He has a very, very specific, simple, flat earth, creationist, Bible-centric worldview. His specific interpretation of the Bible, too, which is a very myopic, specific worldview.
Else going on. It's a deception. Like, they've made going to outer space possible, but you have to be on. It has to be a CGI thing. It has to be in the ISS underwater. So that's why I think they talk like that sometimes.
They think the ISS is underwater because there is a training ISS at NASA at one of their facilities that has a scale replica or an identical replica of the ISS, but in a pool, so they can do training exercise underwater in what feels like a low-weight environment to get prepared for EVAs in space. TM Trey says, Hans is interesting because the No True Scotsman, his gender. Oh my god, I've never heard it put that way, but very true.
Goodall is frank about the climate crisis and the pervasive sense of doom. Of course, they're quite right. We have really destroyed the planet, and we're getting to a point of no return. I think that the elites understand about... I think the whole history reset that people have now discovered, I think that's another truth that people have just known about. And there's probably all sorts of references in the media to the fact that this place gets reset. The saying, if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it. That was such a brilliant observation that I read in a comment one time, that, oh, that's like a threat, that they're saying, we erase your history, and then we make you repeat this cycle over and over again. And maybe that's where people...
Yikes. He's not a QAnon person, to my knowledge.
People have strong connections to the ideas of reincarnation, and that comes up in a lot of certain religious thoughts. I don't believe in reincarnation at all. I think everybody has one life to live here. But those feelings, I think, may be so strong, the sense of deja vu, could come from the fact that this game that they're playing out is something that they do over and over and over again, and they like to reset the realm. I hate that word, but, you know. Okay. With the specter of the 2024...
No, QAnon wouldn't fit into his worldview. QAnon is... He's distrusting of people, so the very idea that there would be a group of quote-unquote white hat good guys working to stop the bad guys would never fit into his worldview, because he is so isolated and believes to not trust anyone that he even thinks his parents are in on it and lying to him. He would never be able to accept a QAnon-like conspiracy in which there is a team of good guys. He does not believe that's a thing or could exist within the narrative that he has crafted. Profane Priestess says, funny thing about him hating Goodall is that she's a deeply religious woman. She's just a progressive Christian and theistic evolutionist, so it isn't good enough for him. Oh yeah, that's how he is about everything. He's very much perfect is the enemy of good in his view, or at least he follows that accidentally, or doesn't follow it. He needs everyone to exactly believe what he believes. The only person he trusts is himself. His internal monologue is all he trusts, fundamentally. And what he would say the Bible and God, but really, of course, that's his interpretation of these things, so.
Presidential election. Trying to tell people to get out there and vote. And I think that there's a couple different things going on there. Voting never really accomplishes anything, first of all. People who get stuff done, it's because they go to get it done. And the world still may fight against you, and the world's really unfair. My mind just goes to stuff like, have you ever heard of... Sometimes there's like a stairway that needs to be built, and the government is just like, nothing's happening. And then...
Oh, this story. I swear, this is the new hot coffee McDonald's myth. Holy shit. Those stairs, if you heard about that story, got torn down because they weren't up to code and were actually dangerous. The city came in and actually took those down and put up a cement stairs that will last much longer. So don't let libertarians lie to you about that fucking image. Chitara says, is it bad that I'm glad he doesn't want to exercise his right to vote? No, no. As long as you're not getting him not to vote, I don't think it's bad that you're happy he doesn't. Oh, I have a lot of stuff, but I think that's probably it for today because we've been going 3 hours, and I am hungry and need to stop at the store. So, I think that's probably it. Let me make sure I save this stuff. I have a Freemason video for us to watch that's pretty interesting. That'll work. What was this one? Old World 101. Saved. Urine fasting. Definitely gotta save that for next time. Love you, Mr. Blast. Watched that. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Evil Gina put out an 1.5 hour long video we're probably gonna have to watch. Richie from Boston. Cool. Oh shit, we didn't watch the cheese video. We should probably watch the cheese video. Hannah mentions cheese. This is only a minute.
90% of U.S. cheese has now been infiltrated by one of the world's largest biopharmaceutical companies, Pfizer, and it has GMOs. Traditionally, cheese is made with just 4 ingredients: milk, salt, starter culture, and animal rennet, which is a clotting agent that's used to curdle milk into cheese. Today, there are 4 different kinds of rennet used in the cheese industry, and reports are stating that the most commonly used kind is a genetically modified version called FPC, or fermentation.
It's literally just that it's GMO. He's upset that one of the ingredients is GMO. According to him, I don't even know if it actually is. GMO is good, it's fine, please stop being afraid of that.
Produce chymosin made by Pfizer. These alternative rennets are both cheaper to use and speed up the aging process, which, like always, means greater profits. The crazy part is no one knows that they're eating this or how it's really affecting us.
It's not. It's fine.
Because this FBC rennet is labeled as grass or generally recognized as safe, it creates a loophole that exempts Pfizer or other companies from having to label these products as GMO. And due to Pfizer...
Wow, it's almost like it's generally recognized as safe and doesn't require it.
There's massive amount of wealth and power. It's now made its way into about 90% of our cheese. But how is this affecting us? Because this is newer technology, we don't yet know for...
Is it turning us into trans streamers? Because I have a data point for you.
Sure, but there has been a number of researchers addressing concern. After all, the only unbiased safety study used to approve these FPCs was evaluated by this short-term 90-day trial in rats. However, researchers are concerned about its toxicity, or the biotoxins from GMOs, as well as digestive...
The biotoxins. Citation?
...issues for humans, as these rennet alternatives can serve as an allergen. While I'd love to present you with a list of cheeses to avoid, as well as the ones that are safe, there's just way too many cheeses out there. So if you can, look for the kind of rennet or enzyme used in the cheese. I would seek out animal or traditional rennets first, then potentially some vegetable rennets, and I'd avoid cheeses containing any microbial or
What's he got against vegetable-based rennet?
genetically modified rennets altogether.
What an asshole. More cheese for me. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Oh wait, I'll do 27. You need more cheese, not trans yet? Yeah, just load it up. Alright, have a great night, everyone! I'll see you tomorrow. There's new Chili content. He has another hearing tomorrow in the morning, so we'll be watching another Chili thing tomorrow along with other Sobsit stuff, so I hope to see you then. Thanks for another great Tinfoil Tuesday. Be cool, and be safe out there. Bye, everyone.